Okay, I am currently live, but if anyone is saying anything, I can't see you yet because I'm doing something on the computer. So just hold on one moment. Please stand by. Alrighty. Just getting stuff set up. Okay, almost done. Almost. Did you get that link I sent you?
Yeah, I did.
Alright, cool.
I'm watching the stream right now. I see you're out of play area.
Yeah, I'm turned around and I'm away from the camera, doing stuff on the computer. Almost done. I think everything's done now. Yeah, it looks like we should be good. Alright. Let me walk back over to my spot. And that gives me a quick example of what it might be like to play in room scale. Look at that. Oh boy.
How's your sensor set up right now?
Currently I have it on a shelf on the wall that's about a foot or two above my TV, so the sensor is slightly above head level, and it's pointed down on my chest, so that way it gets kind of the full range of motion here. I can move my arms around. I don't have to worry about losing tracking.
Looks
All
pretty
right.
good. I'm curious. I'd like to see bow and arrow.
You can just hold on a second. That's what you can do.
So that's the kind of stream we're gonna have today,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. All right. Well, so if you're watching, my name is David Jagno. I'm the games editor at UploadVR.com. I'm playing Skyrim VR on the PlayStation VR. If you did not see our review, you can see that at our website at UploadVR.com. We also have interviews with the developers. We've got our archived live stream from yesterday, over 2 hours of footage. Here on our YouTube channel, we've got a bunch of other videos. So the game just came out today, so that means anyone can go into a store and buy it. You can go download it from the PSN store. It's a full $60. It is the entirety of Skyrim. You get all 3 expansions, but your save file does not carry over. It does not interact with the other PS4 version of the game. This is like a brand new copy. Only works in VR, so you can't play this out of VR. Yeah, so we're here in Skyrim, and I'm picking up where I left off yesterday in the stream. So, yeah, that's where we're at.
And this is Ian Hamilton here. I'm logged onto the stream, chatting with David, and watching him play, just like anyone else that's got this streaming. And if there's any questions in chat, I'll relay those to David, though I think it'll pop up on your screen too, right?
Yeah, I can see like snippets, but it has a character limit that's really small. So if you leave a question that's longer than like 1 sentence, I won't be able to see all of it. And also, I will likely miss stuff if I'm in combat or if I'm doing something. I might get distracted and not see it. So that's what Ian's here for, and also just ask questions and keep things interesting, because I have a habit of just not talking if I'm playing a game. I get pretty into it, so.
And they're going to be dumb questions, to be clear, because I am not a Skyrim person.
Well, here's a dead body from earlier.
Yeah, so you were talking about like no one respawns. That's kind of crazy to me.
None of the named characters do. So, like, if you go to a town, there are people, you know, like, you'll have the shopkeeper that has a name. You have all of these different people. Joshua, he said he was in VR once, but he took an arrow to the knee. That's a good on-topic joke right there. So all the characters in towns, they all have names, they have schedules, they have lives that they do. If you kill them, they're dead. They're just like, you know, a person that you would come across. But these bandits here at this fort, after a while, eventually it will be reoccupied with bandits again. You know, like the unnamed characters, like if I go check out this body right here, see, his name is Bandit. He's not an actual like, I guess he doesn't have a schedule, doesn't have like a life inside the game, so that's why he'll eventually respawn. The body will disappear, that kind of stuff. So
We should probably
someone's
run through we should probably run through the different motion controls.
yeah,
People are
yeah.
asking about sickness already. Now, David, you don't suffer from motion sickness, so you usually go full motion, right?
That's right. That's right. So let me go into the options real quick, and what I'll do is I'll start. I'm going to show the teleportation movement. So there are two movement modes if you're using the PlayStation Move controllers. You have direct movement, which is what I'm using now, and you also have teleportation. So teleportation, let's turn that on. And the way this works
how I'll play.
is I can't do anything inside the game right now. I can't make myself move. Instead, I have to hold down the move button on the controller, this button here on the top, and what I do is I point and I teleport. So it zooms me forward. That's how movement works if you are using teleportation. And there are two ranges of it. So the blue-white line here, this does not use any stamina. It's a short-range teleport. If you go far and it turns green, that's using up stamina. So you can only use that as long as you have stamina on your meter here. And so that's in place of sprinting because you can't sprint if you're teleporting. Then on the right controller, the X and circle buttons here, I hit these and that lets me rotate because the PSVR only has one camera and it's front facing only, which means if I turn around, the Move controllers lose tracking and it won't be able to see what I'm doing and it can't really track correctly, see how stuff is glitching and disappearing. So you can only face forward while you're playing, and that's why you have the ability to rotate with the right controller.
Someone's asking if the game has shouts.
They do. Yeah, there are shouts in this game. It has the entirety of Skyrim in it. There's no... Well, what I would love is for there to be like some voice recognition to the shouts, like if I had to actually say Fusroda for it to work. But unfortunately, it's just a button you hit, just kind of like it would be in the normal game. So here we'll go and do direct movement this time. And there are two types of direct movement. Just like with teleport, whenever I rotate, I can do gradual, which is what you saw earlier. Here, I'll show it again just to make it clear. This is gradual rotating, where it kind of quickly spins me around. But the other option is instant. And what this does, it's kind of like you blinked whenever you turn. So it doesn't spin, it just automatically blinks and I'm facing a different direction. So direct movement, the way this works is on the left move controller, it's the teleport button that I would use if I were doing teleport. I hold it down and I point and I go in that direction. So I can point where I want to go, I can point backwards, I can point to the side, and if I double tap, I sprint.
They're also asking if you can use double-handed weapons, and are you on your Pro right now?
I am playing on a PS4 Pro. There is a graphical upgrade. It looks a little bit crisper, but generally speaking, it's not a whole lot better. This game doesn't look great compared to the PS4 version or the PC version, and that's just something that you should expect. You know, it's a VR game. They had to make some downgrades. But in the headset, it does look better than it looks on your screen right now when you're watching it. The PS4, whenever you stream a VR game, it outputs it to the TV and then streams that. So the quality is a little bit lower, and there's kind of a fisheye effect. I don't have any of that. So there's full 3D, you know, everything looks really nice. So two-handed weapon. I'm going to equip one right here. So in regular Skyrim, when you use a two-handed weapon, it shows your hands holding it with two hands. But in the VR version, instead, it just puts it in your right hand. So the left hand cannot equip something if I'm using a two-handed weapon, because I can still use it for movement, but my weapon is just in my right hand here. And so in base Skyrim, two-handed weapons were pretty overpowered, I feel like, and now in VR, I feel like they're even more overpowered, because you can just quickly hit stuff. And in the base game, there was a delay because it's so heavy, you had to do it slow. But in VR, I can just, I can hit stuff super fast.
That sounds like the way to play, right?
If you want to cheese it a little bit, but I prefer to use one-handed weapons and a shield. So let me...
Are there difficulty settings at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, and the options, you can change the difficulty at any time.
So I mean, like, if you play it on a harder difficulty and then go melee everything, I think that's a sweet spot there?
It could be. The difficulty setting, all it really does is change how much damage you do, how much damage you take, and how much health stuff has. So it doesn't really change the game a whole lot. It just makes it a little bit... it does make it harder. It's kind of an artificial increase. I think I'm playing on either Apprentice or Adept right now, which is... there's, I think, 5 different settings, and I'm playing on 2 or 3. I'm not sure which one, I can't remember. Just for, streaming and everything like that, I kind of like to not have it too difficult because I'm not super focused while I'm talking.
I guess they can't really add to the number of characters on screen given the limits of the horsepower.
This? Let's see. Looks like we got... Are they just hunters? Yeah, he's a hunter. Michael, that's a good question about spellcasting. I'm glad you asked that. Yes. Casting spells is definitely way better than it was in the regular version of the game. So I can equip, 2 spells just like normal. Any 2 spells I want. And I hold them in my hand here. And in the core game, you might remember, there was a reticule on the screen, and whenever you cast something, it just points at wherever you're aiming your reticule. But in VR, since you have 2 hands with PS Move, I can shoot 1 spell here, I can shoot 1 behind me, I can aim here, so I can hit multiple different enemies very easily. That makes spellcasting really useful in the VR version of the game.
Vezer is also asking about riding a horse.
Let's go check it out. This is a good opportunity for me to show you the map. So what they did with the map in the VR version is they actually made it like a 3D model that I can fly around. So instead of looking at a flat map on a screen, it's like Google Earth but Skyrim, where I can zoom around, all the stuff that I've discovered already, I can point and click to fast travel there. This is one of the cool features they added to the VR version. The other menus are just kind of flat floating boxes, but this is very VR-ified, I guess you could say. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the stable here. I don't think I have enough money to buy a horse, so we're going to steal one so that you can see it. And then I'll probably end up getting murdered by some guards or something, so let's see how this goes.
What's respawn like for your character? You just come back?
Yeah, wherever the last save was. Usually the game autosaves, you can see up here, whenever you fast travel or you enter an area. So whenever you go into a city, go into a dungeon, it'll quick save, autosave. But if you're exploring out in the open, you have to manually save if you want to have it save your progress. So let's see. I have 888 gold, so I have a lot more than I thought I did. Maybe I have enough to buy a horse. Let's see.
Got the fleet. Man like you needs a war horse. Suppose so. Got one all saddled if you've got the coin.
Let's see. Oh, 1,000. I'm so close. You know what? I don't want to steal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the city and I'm going to go sell some stuff. And I should be able to afford a horse after that. And one thing that I really like about this game that I feel like is captured really well in VR is the sky. It's just so beautiful. And it really makes you realize how big the world is. It's so much larger than any other game in VR yet. And just the sense of scale is crazy. I mean, so Ian, you haven't played Skyrim, so you don't know this, but these mountains here, the tallest one right there is called the Throat of the World. And you get to go to the very tip top of it, and you can gaze out and look at all of Skyrim spread out before you. And it's just so crazy.
Have you done that yet in VR?
I did on my other save file on my other PS4. So I don't have it on this one. I can't quickly load it up. But I could... The main quest takes you there. So that's something that I can try to do on this stream, because I need to, do quests and level up anyway.
And we were talking about riding a dragon, right? What's that path like, and how many hours would it take?
I I would estimate it'll probably take at least 20 hours to get to that point because you need to be level 10 to even start the quest line. Then you need to be probably level 20 or 25 to really be able to complete that DLC, which is the Dragonborn DLC. So that's a good ways off. If you turn the difficulty down, it might be a little easier, but it's still a significant time investment because you need to basically finish an entire DLC campaign. Let's see. So for those unaware, if you haven't played Skyrim, if it says a word like adept or novice or something down here, or it says unlock, that means the door's locked because they're closed. So I can look here. Let me see. I'm trying to remember where the sleep button is in VR. Here we go. So it's 8:37 p.m. The store's closed. That makes sense. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just wait until the morning. And it goes black when you're waiting in VR, but if you're playing the non-VR version of the game, you would be able to see the time of day changing. I'm kind of bummed that they didn't have that in VR. All right. It's going to take
How many hours do you think you've put in Skyrim total?
Between VR and non-VR?
Yeah, over the years.
Oh, geez. Maybe 200-300, maybe more.
Not bad, not bad.
I thought it opened at 9. I don't know. That store is open.
Go cast your fancy magic someplace else.
Let me put my spells away. Getting uncomfortable. Let's see. Let me wait another hour.
Hands off.
There we go. Okay, while this is loading, I'm going to turn my fan on real quick. It's a little warm in here.
Got something for just about everybody in here. Give
Okay.
a holler if you have any questions.
All right. We're at the shop.
Everything's for sale. I'd even buy one of your
For sale, sure.
Yes, you can use a two-handed weapon. Someone else is asking. We just showed it a few minutes ago on the stream.
Yeah, so it doesn't. You don't hold it with two hands. It just shows it in your one hand. But you can use a two-handed weapon just fine. It just does a lot more damage than one hand, and then you can't use your left hand anymore whenever you have it equipped. There we go. I have over 1,000 now, so I can buy me a horse. Alrighty.
Do come back.
Oh yeah, so one thing that's great about Skyrim is you can pick stuff up and move it, which is lots of fun. And this basket here, what I'm going to do...
Please do look around. I'm sure I have something you'll want. What
Ah,
are you doing that for?
ha! Ah, dang it. And I can, since it is Skyrim, you're free to do pretty much whatever you want. So all the stuff in this store here, I can steal it if I want. I can try to sneak up behind him and pickpocket him. I can, kill him if he makes me mad. Then the store is closed. He's not going to be able to sell me stuff anymore. So it's usually not a good idea to kill merchants. There are some characters in the game that can't be killed if they are part of the main quest. I think the game prevents you from killing them, just to make sure it doesn't break the game. But pretty much everyone else can be killed. Like this entire city, I could just murder everybody. But I'm not strong enough to do that. I would get killed very quickly.
What level are you right now?
I think I'm only level 3.
And so, like, are every one of the characters, do they have levels, or is it just... And how do you identify?
You use your eyes and your instincts, basically. The game kind of scales a little bit. So as I progress through the game, once I'm level 10, 15, 20, bandits are going to start having better gear. They're going to have more health. So stuff is... They kind of keep it interesting, So if I get all the way and I'm like max level, I have tons of awesome gear. Bandits still have the ability to kill me. They're not going to, just fall down whenever I look at them. But there is some stuff that's harder than other things. Like, if I find a giant frost troll in the mountains, that's probably going to be a little harder to fight than a mud crab on the beach.
Got the fleet. Man like you needs a
I'm curious, how long would it take to walk from one end of the world to the other?
I know they did that back whenever
You've got a deal.
the game originally came out. I want to say it's got to be a couple hours, because you know this area here that I'm looking at just right here around me. You know, like if we pull up the map real quick, dang it, there we go. You know, that's just this little area. And so, I mean, the game is like, I can go all the way to the far reaches of all these mountains here, all the way back over there. I mean, the world is pretty huge. And this is just the main content. The DLC all adds more areas. So, the Dragonborn DLC, I get on a boat and I go to another island that you can't even see in this area. And so, I mean, there's there's a lot of stuff to do.
So there's another question related to the two-handed weapon. You were just saying that on the attack speed, like you can just melee as fast as you can swing, right?
Yeah. So in the base game, in the base game, whenever you equip different weapons, they have different speeds, different sizes, different weights. So I mean, this weighs 12 pounds, I guess is what that is, 12 whatever the unit is, and the two-handed weighs 17. But because it's the VR version, I equip it. It's just in my right hand. I can swing it, you know, as much as I want. So you can't do that in the base game of Skyrim. And the left hand here is just used for movement. I can't equip anything in it because it's technically a two-handed weapon. Whoops. Alrighty, so I think this is my horse. Yep, UploadVR's horse. There it is. Alrighty. Giddy up!
Question about a Vive version of this. We've just heard that it's coming to PC, right? But we don't know when.
That is correct. They have not announced a date yet.
I'm a little torn. So I've played Skyrim just a little bit once, and just got distracted by other things and didn't come back to it. And it's currently downloading on the VR version's downloading on my PS4 now. And I'm a little torn because bow and arrow is one of my favorite things to do in VR, and I want to experience that with a Vive. And I don't know if should I wait or is bow and arrow going to be fun enough with it on PS4?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, the tracking isn't amazing because, see, the main issue with using a bow and arrow, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just show you real quick. The main issue with it is that because there's only one camera, whenever I go to knock this arrow and I pull it back, depending on where my headset is, the right hand is over here by my face, right? If I'm blocking the view of my right controller, sometimes the tracking gets a little weird. So you can see that's the reason why it's a little finicky, because you're playing Skyrim, so you're kind of tempted to move around. You want to walk and you want to duck and move, but with PSVR you really got to try to just stand still and face forward, and that's when the bow and arrow works fine. See, I mean, I'm pulling it back. I can shoot. I'll hit this rock right there. You know, it's not a big deal. It's just you have to make sure you're in the right environment. So for me, I have my PSVR camera is up on a shelf above my head. It's pointed down and it's pointed at my chest so that it can see the full range of movement here. You know, I'm not losing tracking by moving my hands around. I'm facing forward, and so that's the ideal situation, and that's, you know, it works fine.
So bottom line, camera slightly above your head, or I've seen some people suggest going as high as like 7 feet.
Yeah, if you want to do that. I don't want to mount it on the wall because I switch rooms a lot with my PSVR. I just have it on a shelf, and it works fine for me. But I'm sure it would work even better if I had it up higher, pointed down. The biggest thing is it just needs to be able to see your head and your arms in full range of movement at all times. That's the big thing.
Henry is asking if you can use your power on a horse.
Use your power. I'm not sure what that means. You can do pretty much anything you want on a horse.
And how does that feel, by the way? I mean, you're immune to simulator sickness, but that galloping looks kind of heinous for stomachs.
I mean, that's something that's hard for me to judge because, like you said, it doesn't affect me. I would imagine it would make some people uncomfortable. I know that some people don't like bobbing cameras even outside of VR. So
If
yeah.
you turn your full locomotion off, does that change?
Let's test it. Teleportation. Nope. It looks like horses are always smooth movement.
Interesting.
And if I wanted to... Oh man, I don't remember how to get off a horse. Let me see. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so now I can teleport around.
Yeah, Neil, David playing right now is pretty immune to getting sick in VR, but your mileage is going to vary with the different movement schemes. He's using full locomotion, and that's fine for him, but you might want to use teleport if you're... there's the snap turns, and you might want to definitely do that. And how does snap turns work on a horse, for that matter?
Let's give it a shot. It works fine. The horse just comes back into view.
Huh. Interesting. Wonder how much effort that took them.
I wonder if this helps, if I pretend like I'm going... if I have the reins in my hand and I kind of bob up and down. I don't know.
I now want a horse simulator.
Yeah, I know, right? Alrighty. So let's see. Let's go do something. One of the things that I have on my quest log is the Golden Claw. Anyone that has ever played Skyrim probably did this quest. You go to Bleak Falls Barrow, you retrieve the Golden Claw, you fight a giant spider, you kill this, Draugr Lord at the end, and you bring it back. And it's like the first main quest you do in Skyrim. So let's go ahead and do that, as I need to do it eventually. Real quick, I'll answer Neil Castle's question. He wants to know if I can walk backwards. So movement with the full movement is I point the move controller and I hold down the button, so I just point it back. That's how that works. So the bad thing is, if I'm holding a bow, for example, this is the kind of the biggest, most frustrating thing about the movement system, and why I really want a control stick on these controllers, is if I'm aiming my bow and I'm fighting somebody, the bow is being held upright. So that means the left move controller is facing up. If I press the movement button, I kind of have to tilt the bow in order for it to move the way I want to go. So I can't aim and aim and move at the same time. I have to kind of move a little bit, stop and shoot, and then move a little bit. So that's a little frustrating. All right. Let us go. I don't think I actually discovered Bleak Falls Barrow yet. It's right there. So we're going to go back to Riverwood, and I'll just walk over to it. Actually, I'm not sure. Let me see. If I get on my horse and fast travel, I don't remember if it goes with me. Let's see if it does.
You can't, whistle to your horse from across the map?
I'm not sure if they have that feature. Ah, there we go. My horse does fast travel with me. That's good to know. Here we go, going high speed now. Giddy up, Bullseye.
So you've reviewed the game in VR. You've played 200 to 300 hours, you guess. how much time do you think you're going to end up putting into this in VR over the coming days and weeks and months? Like, you've got a lot of games you play, but I mean, how big of a draw is this to you?
It completely depends on how many reviews Tal, our editor-in-chief, wants me to do. So it's fully up to him. Oh no! Crap! Oh no!
So you're saying...
How dare you!
That Skyrim is directly below, like a tier right below making a living.
Right below what?
So you've got make a living, as you know, near the top of your priority list, and then right below that is Skyrim.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, Skyrim is life. Here's a fun story, real quick. The original Skyrim came out on November 11, 2011. 11/11/11. I'll never forget that date because it's genius marketing and it's awesome. And it came out on a Thursday at midnight. Friday is the release day. And I remember I was in college at the time. You know, I had an apartment living with my friends. All four of us went to the midnight launch at a GameStop in the town we lived in. And we waited in line. I met a friend in line that I'm still friends with to this day. We were waiting in line together. And after I got the game, I skipped class the next day for that Friday. I called in sick to work. And I think I played Skyrim nonstop from midnight on Thursday until Saturday mid-morning. About 30 hours. Yeah, so not my proudest moment, depending on who you ask. But to me,
it's definitely your proudest moment.
That was one of the greatest weekends of my life.
Well, so I was thinking about the timing of this release going straight into Thanksgiving week. I'm wondering how many people out there really rearrange their lives to do a fair portion of Thanksgiving week in VR.
Yeah, good question. I think it's probably pretty likely. Oh yeah, let's go see that. Oh, beautiful. Right in the neck. Right in the jugular. So as you can see, it is perfectly possible to be successful with the bow and arrow in this game. I feel like I did a pretty good job in that fight right there.
Is this a global launch? Did it launch in Europe and everywhere today?
I think so. I mean, I'm not 1,000% positive, but I'm pretty sure. I think Bethesda usually does global launches. Oh, look at that. Arrow to the knee. There it is. Right there. And for those wondering my looting here, what I usually do is I take the stuff that doesn't weigh anything, so gold, arrows, stuff like that you can just go in my inventory without taking up weight, because you do have a weight limit based on your character, your strength, your stamina, all that. And then I also usually take high value light armor. So like fur armor only weighs a couple pounds, but it has a value of 50. So I grab that because it doesn't take up much room in my inventory, but it will still be worth the effort of taking it back and selling it. And so that's why most bodies I loot end up being naked after.
And I'm personally pretty blown away by the amount of interest in this game that we're seeing. It's over 5 years old, and
it's about 6 years old.
Everyone has already played it. Yeah, I mean, everyone's already played it. That is, I mean, not everyone. I haven't, obviously, and there's plenty of people that haven't yet. But still, like, people want to go back. They want to be inside that world, and that's an amazing kind of. But the amount of interest we've been seeing in our stories about it and watching these live streams has just been really surprising for all things considered. And we've been talking about this a lot, David, right? With Oculus spending a lot of money to keep building exclusives, and then there's this game like Skyrim that has such a built-in audience and so many people want to visit that world.
Yeah.
It's just surprising.
Yeah, I mean, Skyrim is an interesting game because I feel like it's one of those games that people have just continued playing. In the 6 years since it came out, especially on PC, the modding community has just taken this game and ran with it. There are people that have made entire games that use the Skyrim assets and some of their own original assets and have created their own, completely unique original story that has nothing to do with Skyrim. People use it as a base for game development almost. And there are mods that completely change the game, that add things that were never in the original game, that totally tweak different pieces and content. And one thing worth noting is that there are no mods in the VR version. So the PS4 version, the Xbox One version, and the PC version all have mods. But there are no mods in this version of the game. Bethesda hasn't said that they will never be there. But, I would say that if they ever do get released, it's going to take a while.
A question about how good the shield feels.
I love it. This is my preferred combat method in VR. A shield with a one-handed weapon. Because whenever I hold the shield up, I have to turn it like this in order for it to work. See how it goes solid? If I'm pointing it to the side, not using it, it goes see-through. And that lets me know that I can, point to move around and everything. But if I'm holding it up like this, it goes solid and it works. So I can block arrows, I can block hits from enemies. I can even do that to bash with it to stagger them and then follow up with a hit. It's really satisfying to stand there toe-to-toe with someone and kind of, pivot side to side, go forward, bash and hit, and then back up. It feels really, really good.
Yeah, someone's saying, if you played this for 3 hours, would you be using Move or DualShock?
Let's see. On Wednesday, the day that I was marathoning it for review, I think I spent... The longest continuous time I spent with Move was, I think, about 3 hours. And I was standing the whole time. I was exhausted. I do think that a lot of people are going to play with DualShock just because it's a lot easier, more convenient. You can lay back on the couch, don't have to move your arms around. And it does play great. It plays a lot like Resident Evil 7, if anyone played that. So I can show the DualShock, how it plays with DualShock a little bit later. The only bad thing is you have to go all the way back to the main menu to switch control schemes. You can't do it from the options in-game. So it's a little inconvenient. For right now, I'm just going to keep doing Move, but I'll show DualShock a little bit later.
All right, so like I said earlier, that I'm not super familiar with the Skyrim universe, but I have heard that theory that many of Bethesda's games are actually in the same universe, just at drastically different timescales. What are your feelings about that theory?
I think that would be awesome if it's true.
And all the other Elder Scrolls games, what time period are they sent in? They happen immediately before these, or at dramatically different times?
Most of them happen at dramatically different times. There are, in Elder Scrolls lore, there's a lot of really big climactic things that happen. There are different timelines and stuff like that. This one, I think this one happens really far in the future. If I remember correctly, either it's like 1,000 years before or 1,000 years after Oblivion. I can't remember. I'm sure someone in the comments can correct me. And it happens during a time when dragons are coming back. So they were thought to be extinct. Then at the beginning of the game, dragons come back. And you're the last dragonborn. So you have dragon blood. And you have the ability to speak the dragon language. That's where the shouts come in. And it's up to you to, stop this big bad dragon called Alduin, the World Eater, because he is, trying to do bad dragon stuff. And
is that true? We got this comment, Neil, saying that some characters know that they're in a video game.
There's some, I don't know how true that is. I'm not sure. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. I've never encountered that. But I wouldn't be surprised if that were true. There's some characters in Fallout that are really self-aware, especially some like robots and stuff, and so that definitely wouldn't surprise me. All right, so we're in Bleak Falls Barrow now. I'm sneaking. The way you sneak is you just hold down the jump button, which is triangle on the right move controller, and it puts you down crouching. I can physically get down and crouch too if I want, but there's no need for that.
Yeah, I was wondering when you're on the horse if you physically move in the room. I was curious if that dismounts you or the horse just moves.
Oh, dang it. There we go.
Yeah, we're starting to get to close to 5 p.m. on the East Coast, and I'm imagining a lot of people are getting ready to come home and disappear.
This is definitely a game that you can do that in. It's very easy to get lost, and I mean that used to happen just in the flat screen version. So I mean, now playing it in VR, it's really immersive.
It's a good question there. Do you think that future Bethesda titles will have VR support in the base version?
I'm gonna say no, and that's because Bethesda's usually pretty late to adopt new technology. I mean,
what other company has adopted VR across 3 of their major titles? That's not insignificant.
That's a fair point. I don't know. I mean, they have, like you said, they have 3 games that are all coming out within a month of each other, basically, and all of them are going to have VR support. So, I mean, they've done the groundwork. So maybe they will start just importing or having it be a native feature. That'd be pretty awesome.
I suppose there's always the performance question, right? If they're going to want to eke out every drop of performance from their main game, and if including a VR version with that main game threatens that performance somehow or dramatically alters their development timeline, that could be the deal breaker right there.
Yeah, I could see that affecting it, but also to counter that, Bethesda usually doesn't care too much about taking forever to release a game. I mean, Skyrim came out 6 years ago, and there has not even been an announcement of Elder Scrolls 6 yet.
Yeah, I've been noticing, is there a tendency there to wait really late in the announcement schedule and then sort of just drop it on people?
They seem to like to do that lately. Fallout 4 was formally announced at E3 2015, I think. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. And then it came out that same year. Oh, cool. Okay, I leveled up. Here's a chance for me to show you how that works. It's one of my favorite new things they added, including the map. So normally in the menu you go to level up, and you just have this, astronomical interface where you can connect the dots of the different constellations to increase your attributes, and that's how leveling up worked. But now, since I'm in VR, this actually has full 360 around me, so I can see all these different constellations in the sky, and it just looks really, really cool. They did a really nice job of adapting this.
I haven't been really following Dreams. Have you? Jamie's the one that's been following Dreams really closely, but do you see that question about Dreams on PS4?
Whenever I was at E3, I talked to someone from Media Molecule just kind of casually, and they did say it's still in development. It's not been canceled. It's supposed to be a PlayStation Experience next month, so I'm not sure if it still has VR support. I would assume so. I don't think they've announced any changes with that. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's just still TBD. It's coming, but they don't really know.
I think with a fair number of these sort of resource-heavy games, they've had to draw back what you can do with VR. Like the best example being Gran Turismo, right, where you can only race against one other car.
Yeah, something like that.
And so I don't know. You've got Dreams is a very creative experience, right? And I don't know. I don't know if they can do things like Tilt Brush and blocks can do on the PC, on PS4. It could be one of those problematic things.
Yep, I agree. Okay, now this part, there are 3 giant rats that are about to come running up those stairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this opportunity to show you guys how badass the spellcasting is. Because it's very easy to just stand here and roast these guys. They're coming. Any second now. I promise. Maybe. Okay, never mind. Let's go down. Maybe they don't sense me yet. This has never happened. Oh, there they are. Oh, Jesus.
You just roasted some dogs?
These are skeevers. They're giant rats.
ROUSs?
Oh yeah, there we go. Fireball scroll. It's gonna come in handy here in a little bit. Alright. So, for those unaware, Bleak Falls Barrow is where I'm at right now. The Riverwood trader, the guy that runs that shop, he had a golden claw stolen from him. It was like a ceremonial, display item that he had above his door at the shop. And a bandit stole it, took it to Bleak Falls Barrow, where he supposedly his hideout. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to find it. And later on in the game, there's going to be another quest that connects to this. So I'm kind of preemptively doing it now. But let's go ahead and go into this room here and see what's going on. I'm going to preemptively prepare myself a little bit because I happen to know exactly what's about to happen. There's a lot of spider webs, so I think you can kind of connect the dots here. And, yep, there she is.
Oh yeah, I played this in the demo.
Fireball! And I'm going to cheese it a little bit. I'm going to kind of hide in this corner. There we go.
Several people asking again about sneaking and whether you can crouch down to sneak.
Physically, that doesn't do anything. So see, I'm playing right now. I can like get down on my knees. I'm not sneaking right now. I'm just like super tiny and I'm running around. You have to hold down the triangle button on the right move controller to sneak.
So you excited about Fallout and Doom as much as this? Throwing your fandom out the door, which do you think is going to have the biggest impact?
You did it. You killed it. Now
I would say Fallout. It's a more recent game. It's founded upon newer tech. It's going to launch on Vive, so it'll be higher quality. Like I said, it's more recent. It just came out 2 years ago as opposed to 6 years ago. I think that one is going to be a bigger deal. I mean, there's probably a reason Bethesda announced it first. You know, they announced it all the way back at E3 2016, and there were playable demos then, so they've been working on it for a while. Skyrim VR was just announced a few months ago at E3. So I have a feeling that Fallout's going to be a bigger deal. Okay, I know what's about to happen. This guy here, I'm going to cut him down, Arvel the Swift, and he's going to run, because he's a little chicken. I'm going to let him run, because I like to watch him get killed by other people, so that's what I'm going to do.
Why should I share the treasure with anyone?
He's taken off. He thinks he can get away. He's so foolish. There are some Draugrs, which are like zombies that are about to come alive any second. There we go. Let's just let them take each other out. Oh, he's dead. Alright, alright. So here we go, shield combat. I can block. I can shield bash. Oh, man. This guy's got a big one.
Another question again about two-handed weapons. You can use two-handed weapons in one hand, and it deactivates your first hand.
Oh boy, I'm taking heavy damage here.
And then obviously just swing as hard as you want, as fast as you want. Yeah, to your point about Fallout being newer, of all the Bethesda games, Doom is the one I played through completely on my own. And given that it's the newest game, I'm also really curious to see how pretty it looks.
Well,
in sort of
to be fair,
systems.
Doom is not the full Doom game. That's a new game they made for VR. It's only about 4 hours long.
That's true, and that's another reason that it's kind of exciting to me, because it's new content.
True, yeah. It will be interesting. I'm excited to play it with the aim controller, because I did that demo, and I like anything that can make it feel more realistic. So I love, holding the aim controller and being able to shoot demons and all that stuff. That was pretty wild. And you can go to UploadVR.com, by the way, to see our impressions of all these games that we're talking about.
That was a real subtle pitch.
Yeah, well, you're watching the UploadVR stream, so what do you expect? Oh, this one has so much health. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there's a person sort of bringing up, like, if you can't crouch, why that's not very immersive, but that's one of those debatable questions, right, where some people really, really hate teleportation. But for me, I kind of need it to play comfortably, and for you're just going around it like crazy, and it's crazy to me that feels so comfortable, because it kind of has the reverse effect on me, where if I was going around like crazy, I would keep thinking about wanting to be on the outside world, because my stomach is kind of churning, and that kind of breaks my immersion in a different way. And I don't know, something like crouching, I don't know how important that is in the grand scheme of things when it just comes to moving fast and making sure people aren't sick doing so.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it too is this is PSVR, so there's not a lot of people that have the ability and room to crouch down and have their camera still read them, because it has a very limited field of view, that camera. If I step too far to the side, I'm going to be out of my play area. So, I mean, it's not like having base stations.
Question about how they handle stamina costs for power strikes?
It's a great question. I'm not entirely sure. To me, it seems like if I hold down the trigger while swinging, that counts as a power strike. So that's basically how they handle it. If I swing just really hard, it doesn't count as a power strike. That's a regular hit. But if I hold down the trigger, see my stamina, that went down.
The commenter was talking about dual wielding and just having the other hand just kind of be there. I guess it kind of does break immersion when you've got sort of a dumb hand.
Yeah, I agree.
Useless hand.
It was really weird at first. I think also just at the same time, if I didn't have anything there, it would feel a little strange as well. But I guess I would be more likely to hold it like this. But the problem with that is, you have to move with your left hand, so you have to be able to point. So I think they just wanted you to be able to see where you're pointing. Alright. So this part's pretty fun if I can line everything up correctly. Okay, here we go. I am going to trigger all of these guys and then turn around, run back, and... Oh no, I missed it! Hit the jug! There we go. I got a couple of them.
Wesley here asking, can you block with a two-handed weapon?
Yeah, you can block with the one-handed weapon too. You just hold it horizontally. So I'll actually show that real quick.
Sorry, that was Hunter asking that question. Wesley's asking which buttons act as shortcuts for healing items.
See, I just blocked that one. You know, I'm not sure if there are any shortcuts at all. There's just not enough buttons on the controller. I mean, there might maybe a square on the right hand. I don't think there's any way to set a shortcut. I mean, you can set a favorite, and then I can access my favorites by hitting circle on the left hand. And so this is kind of their shortcut menu, and I can, you know, pick what I'm equipping and everything. But there's not like a quick access D-pad type system on the Move controllers. Actually, I think I have a better bow that I can equip instead of this one. Right now, I'm using the Imperial bow. Oh, no, I guess that is better than the Nord bow. Yeah. Ooh, I have some steel arrows. Okay. So for jumping, all you do is hit triangle on the right controller here. So the top right button, I just, you know, that's it.
Several comments here asking about healing spells. How do those work?
Let's go ahead and cast one. I will use healing. And yeah, you can see the aura going around me whenever I cast it. I wasn't very hurt, but yeah, there we go. And so it looks like people want to see some more magic. So let me go ahead. I think all I've got is flames for... Oh, I have sparks too. Okay, cool. Now let me see if I have any spell tombs to learn some more. Nope. Okay. Alright. I got rid of my wizard robes. I sold them because I wasn't really using magic much. If you're asking, Wesley, what Iron Flesh does, Oak Flesh, it improves my armor, so I can take more damage. It costs so much magic, and I'm solo level, and I'm not focusing on magic. It's just a huge cost for me. Here we go. So you can kill enemies super fast, but it used up almost all my magic to do that just now, and it doesn't regenerate very, very quickly. If I were wearing wizard robes that had some regeneration bonus enchantments, then it would be better.
Yeah, I think I missed you on this. Like, what's your impression of DualShock, just in general? It seems like you've played a lot with Move, but what's DualShock like overall?
If you've ever played Resident Evil 7, it's almost identical controls. So you're sitting there, you know, you have the DualShock in your hand, and here I'll go like this. The left control stick moves your movement just like this controller does, and the right control stick does the rotation like this. And then
maybe you have to hold the controllers up in front of your face a little bit more so we can see them.
Oh, okay, I forgot there's a cutoff. Okay, so the move controller, see, the left control stick on the DualShock will move me around like I'm doing here. And then the right move controller, the analog stick will rotate me like this. Or the right thumbstick rotates you. If you press the right thumbstick up and down, it doesn't do anything. And that's because Bethesda wanted to limit motion sickness, so instead you have to physically move your head up and down. And whenever you have like the bow equipped and you're using the DualShock, there's going to be an aiming reticle in the middle of the screen, and that's attached to your head movement. So you can use your head to aim the bow whenever you shoot it. And then the rest of the game is controlled just like Skyrim outside of VR. So, you know, if I have one-handed weapon equipped, you know, the R2 swings. If I have a spell, R2 shoots. L2 shoots this hand. All the controls are basically the same as outside of VR. You just have head tracking, and you have the ability to kind of feel like you're more inside the game. One interesting thing, and this is something that I'm kind of frustrated by, is here in whenever I'm using the Move controllers, if I go into the settings, my only snap options are instant and gradual. There's no smooth rotation option at all. So gradual, I'll let you see that. Gradual is like this, where it kind of quickly moves my vision to the side, and I have to tap the button each time I want to do that. But there's no smooth movement just by holding down the different buttons. If I'm using the DualShock, you can have fully smooth rotation. And so that's a nice thing that the DualShock allows if your stomach can handle it.
I'm curious, what being indoors for long lengths of time feels like. Like, I'm noticing outside, when you were outside for the beginning portion of the game, it kind of, I don't know, it feels like being outdoors. But if you're inside these kind of creepy catacomb cave areas for, I don't know, an hour, I wonder if it has kind of like an emotional effect of any kind. Have you felt anything like that?
No, but you're also talking to the guy that works from home and doesn't see the sun for a few days sometimes. So I'm not sure if that's the best comparison. And actually, also, just to check, if you're watching right now, can you just leave a comment and let me know if you can hear Ian's voice? I didn't ask that, and I'm not 1,000% sure based on comments. So, can you hear the other guy that's talking? Just let me know. I want to make sure.
Oh no, there's no comments.
Well, there's a delay.
I think.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There's a few second delay. Okay, cool. All right, let's do some lock picking here. How many people are watching right now?
There's over 50.
Okay, cool. Not bad for a game that people can play already.
Yeah, there's plenty of people already diving in, and that's one of those things. Isn't there an MMO from Bethesda?
Hey, what's up, Hunter? One of my debate partners from college is watching right now, and he's my roommate. He was there in line with me whenever I got Skyrim back in 2011. So, what's up, Hunter?
Oh, I didn't realize that. He made a comment earlier about those posters being making someone's life wonderful.
Posters.
Didn't you get posters when you got Skyrim at that launch?
Oh, maybe.
I think that's what the comment was.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm misremembering the comment, but I think that's what he said. But sorry, I was starting to say, isn't there an MMO from Bethesda? I guess I'm wondering how amazing this would be with lots of people, real people in it.
Oh man, that's the dream right there, isn't it? Yeah, they have the Elder Scrolls Online. It's Oh yeah, okay, I remember now, Hunter. Yeah, so the Elder Scrolls Online MMO, it's on console. So I mean, it's on PS4, it's on Xbox One, it's on PC. If they added just head tracking, just let me wear my PSVR headset and use a controller, that would be so cool. I mean, I would love to play a big MMO like that in VR. Obviously, it would need more features for it to really feel more immersive, like being able to, attack with my hands and be able to walk around a room and all that kind of stuff. But I think it'd be cool if they just had a head tracking. Here we go, level 5. Antimir, Black Friday discount. If you already have a VR headset, then I'm not sure if the game by itself will be discounted. It might. But if you don't, the PSVR bundle with Skyrim and Move controllers and the camera, that's actually going to be discounted if you're interested in that, if you don't have a PSVR yet.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty compelling deal, because it's kind of frustrating, some of these bundles moving some of the pieces outside of the bundle. Like, you've got to go buy the controller separate or the camera separate sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, we are almost at the end of Bleak Falls Barrow. right up here, I'm gonna have to face. After I get through this area, actually, I'm not quite there. I spoke too soon. I forgot about this room. All right, let's switch to magic because I would like to light this room on fire. That would feel really satisfying. Okay, let's time it just right. There we go. Alright, there should be some more. Where are they at? There they are.
It's talking about going back to the question about or the conversation about immersion breaking. I mean, teleportation through those swords would be pretty lame.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I mean, just teleporting to get out of the way of arrows and, you know, stuff like that. That's one of the reasons teleporting feels kind of cheap to me. And I'd much rather be able to just point and move around. I mean, sliding around the world like this isn't ideal. It doesn't really feel like I'm moving as much as, you know, even just a control stick, being able to push forward. I think that small movement is enough to kind of add a little bit more to the experience. But pointing like I'm, you know, like a conductor instructing a floating body to float around, if it feels a little weird. But I mean, that's the compromise you have to make on something like the PSVR where there's no control sticks.
Have you seen anyone use the field of view restricting comfort feature with just walking around a room? I can't remember if I've seen that before.
They had it activated at the last demo that I played, but I turned it off immediately before I even got into the game. For obvious reasons, you know, since I don't get motion sick, but I'll go ahead and turn it on real quick. Just so people can see what it's like. I don't know if you'll actually be able to tell, but I'll go ahead and try it. Voyage and Sea, throwing daggers. I do not think so. I don't think there's any throwing daggers. I think you might be thinking of a mod. I'm pretty sure there's mods that add throwable weapons, but in the base game, I don't think there's anything like that. Okay, so FOV filter while turning and while moving. There's also a strength slider. I'm going to turn it all the way down. Okay, so whenever I'm moving, the FOV kind of dims a little bit. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Let me turn it up higher so it can make a bigger impact.
Yeah, that's my comfort feature right there. I love that. I really want to combine that with the full locomotion and see what it feels like.
Yeah, there it is. It's very minor right now. It's subtle. I'll turn it up all the way so we can see what that looks like. Yeah, the first major game that I saw this in, and I think the same for you, Ian, was Eagle Flight from Ubisoft. They kind of pioneered this feature a little bit where they dim the sides of the screen whenever you're moving to give you more tunnel vision, and it kind of limits your motion sickness a little bit. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I turned it up all the way, and now you can see a pretty big effect.
Yeah, that game had like really quick movement. Oh wow, that's significant. Yeah, that game has such quick movement in all directions, and I don't know, I played that game for 45 minutes to an hour in one sitting, and didn't really feel bad after. I would love to try this full locomotion with that set up to its highest.
Yeah, it'd be cool to check out. You know, that's a good point. I always forget that I have torches in Skyrim, even whenever I'm playing outside of VR. But it feels cool in VR. It really feels like you're holding a torch, because I mean, I can move it around to shed light in different areas. I mean, this is kind of like, you know, the D&D fantasy here. You know, you're dungeon delving, you're looking around, you have a torch, and I can have a spell in this hand or a sword or whatever I want. I don't think you can attack with torches, though. I don't know if they ever added that in a patch. I think whenever I swing it, it just floats around. I can't actually hit something with it.
Someone was asking about life detect. Do you have that spell?
I do not. I haven't bought any extra spells, so I just have whatever I found and whatever I started the game with. I don't even know if they saw that one in Riverwood or not, or Whiterun. They might. Yeah, just so if people that are unaware, in Skyrim, magic it's there. It's not as prominent as it was in other Elder Scrolls games like Oblivion. And that's just because Skyrim is kind of like the northern mountainous winter wasteland of Tamriel. And magic it exists, but it's just not as super prominent as it is in Cyrodiil, where Oblivion takes place. And there is a mage's college. So if I go here into the map... Whoops, the local map is up. I don't want that.
What about the Mage Light spell?
There we go. I don't have that one currently, but it just has like a floating light that hovers by your head that makes it so you can see. Okay, yeah, so as you can see here, where's Windhelm? I think it's Winterhold. Yeah, Winterhold. The Mage's College is here at Winterhold, and I can travel there, I can enroll, and I can... if you wanted to play as more of a mage type character, you would learn a lot of good magic there. You'd get a lot of awesome gear. Yeah, so I'm playing as more of like an archer / one-handed shield, medium light armor type character. But for so Ian, you haven't played a whole lot of Skyrim. The way that it works is you get better at things by doing them. So here on the... Oh, I need to level up anyway. Okay, that works well. So... Here you can see the level menu. All these numbers on things, they go up as I do those things. So if I'm wearing, if I'm using a two-handed weapon, I hit stuff with two-handed weapons, that number will increase, and that contributes to my overall level. But it also lets me get different perks along the skill path. So blocking is another one. Heavy armor. If I get hit while I'm wearing heavy armor, it contributes to that. If I use my bow and arrow, it contributes to archery. If I am doing lockpicking, pickpocketing, alchemy, making potions, there's different schools of magic. They have illusion, conjuration, destruction, restoration, alteration, and enchanting. There's all different kinds of magic in the game. And so that's the way the level system works. So you pick a race at the beginning, but your class is undefined. You get to kind of create your own class. So, you can be like a one-handed sword / destruction magic person, or you can have a sword in one hand and then do illusion magic, so you can make a shield out of your spells appear, or you can resurrect dead bodies and raise them as your own zombie pets that fight for you, or you can do all kinds of cool stuff with magic in the game.
Really interesting. That sounds like I'm curious what the learning curve is for figuring out all those systems on the fly.
They do a decent job of kind of showing you stuff, but really you just learn by doing, just kind of like your character. You just experiment, you try out spells, try out the different things you can do, see what you like, see what you don't. That's the great thing about this game, is that there's like no content is mandatory other than the intro. Once you get out into the open world, you don't have to pay attention to the main quest. You don't have to ever use a spell again. You don't have to ever pick up a sword if you don't want. I don't have to abide by laws in cities. I can kill guards. I can get arrested. All that stuff is here. So it's a game that just has so many possibilities.
Good question here about whether there's more interactions in VR, like lock picking or turning a handle.
Turning handle, no. You just point and click on the door or whatever you want to open. Lock picking, not really. No, it's just the move controller is here. I press square and triangle to twist it, and I pull the trigger to turn it. And you don't have to actually go up there, and I wish they had done that, but they didn't.
And Morgan also asked about moving again and what kind of controllers you're using. But you're using motion controllers, and then there's a variety of different motion options. So you can use teleport. You can even you can use the controller just like normal. But there's also the field of view restriction, which we saw just a few minutes ago, that seems like it might be a really nice comfort option for people that want the immersion of full locomotion, but can't really handle it. The field of view restricts, so you're looking at a tunnel, and it probably feels a lot better. I need to try it as soon as I get mine installed.
Gauntlets, they do show up while casting spells. I keep forgetting that it cuts off down below here on the stream, but yeah, I can see my hands whenever I have a spell equipped. The weapons just float, but you can see your hands with a spell. And I can also unequip everything and just use my fists, if that's something I wanted to do. Let's see. I'm going to unequip that. And I'm going to unequip that. There we go.
Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, I'm going to be playing this for the first. I mean, I got as far as the character selection screen, and I just got distracted by another game. And man, I'm so glad I forgot about the field of view restriction in there, and that's going to be so good for me. I have such a weak stomach for the motion sickness stuff that I was a little nervous about trying to do this game with teleportation, and knowing that I can try at least doing full locomotion with field of view, probably gonna make me put in a significant amount of time, but we'll see.
I hope so. Skyrim is life. All right.
Are you gonna enjoy listening to me on my journey? Like I have to give you updates on where I am.
Man, I wish I could play Skyrim again for the first time. I really, really do. I think Skyrim, Ocarina of Time, and the Mass Effect trilogy. Like if I could forget any games, those would be the games that I would want to forget, and I could just try them again for the first time.
Yeah. So someone says equip the gauntlets, and I just realized, like, if you're looking at this stream, there's a big circle on the view, right? Like, there's a whole, like, I don't know, a quarter of your view is probably off the stream. Is that right?
Since I can't see the stream, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, we can test it. I mean, put your hand like down a little bit, and I'll tell you when we can see it.
Okay, I can see my hands now, but also keep in mind the voice chat is going to be is different from the stream. So we're on party chat on PS4, so you're hearing me in real time, but the chat is delayed. Okay, so you can't see my hand right now, right? It should have caught up by now.
No hands.
Okay, I'm going to move them up a little bit.
Nope.
I'll shake my head side to side to let you know that I've moved them slightly.
Yeah, I think I might be delayed by, I don't know, 5 seconds.
Probably.
Yeah, there's your shake.
Okay, I moved my hands up again.
Still no hands.
Wait for the shake till.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. They're at the edge now.
So you can see like the tips of my fingers?
Yes.
Okay. That's probably about 10 to 15% of the bottom part gone, because I can see all of my hands. I can, just with my peripheral vision, I can look down and I can see all of my hands. And then the top part probably as well has a little bit of cut off.
Yeah, that's interesting. And how tight is the headset on your head, by the way? Like, that's one of the things I love about PSVR, where, I don't know, you can get a really snug fit and you've got a really wide field of view that's pretty crisp all around.
Yeah, I mean, I keep it pretty tight. Part of that's just because my head is ginormous, and I kind of, all headsets fit me snugly. You know, you laugh, but I'm not even kidding, man. Like, whenever I was 8 years old, I had to get an adult-sized bicycle helmet.
I don't think your head is bigger than mine.
I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know. Wesley, let me see. So
that
you
was
can
definitely
see
the highlight of our stream, talking about the size of our heads.
So here's the hand I have now. Let me equip something different. Iron gauntlets are equipped. It doesn't look like they fully covered my hands. Let me try. I have Imperial light bracers. Let me see if those look different. It does not look like they look any different. Maybe it's just because these models aren't modeled. Maybe later stuff is. Like if I got some glass bracers, or like some really nice like dragon glass, or not dragon glass, that's Game of Thrones. I can't remember what they call it. But something like high level, maybe it would model it. That'd be kind of cool. I also don't know if there's a feature, I haven't figured it out if there is, for me to be able to see my character. Because I know in the original Skyrim, you could play third person or first person, and you could hold down the control stick to spin the camera around and look at yourself, which I love to do because you get so many cool pieces of armor that you want to admire. But I haven't been able to figure out if you can do that or not. There's some blood.
So I was thinking back to that question about whether Bethesda will release future games in VR, and it's so hard to imagine them spending years in development on a follow-up to this game and not to bring it to VR too. Like,
yeah,
it's just
I would be
compelling,
disappointed.
and there's so much interest.
Whoops.
Yeah, there's no Steam VR release date yet, but we believe it's coming to PC.
Yeah, they've. I think the quote that they keep saying is, "We want to bring our games to as many headsets as possible," because they don't want to admit that it might be Rift compatible. That's how I interpret that. Alrighty. Here we are at the Riverwood Trader once again.
Yeah, see, my mood has completely changed now that you're outside again. I feel happy.
The sooner you
Man, you haven't even seen
Got some
some of the late game crypts and stuff, and fighting like spectral demons, and oh man, it's gonna be stressful in VR.
I'm gonna put this back where it belongs. I'll never forget this. You've done a great thing for me and my sister.
You know what? No problem, Lucan.
Thank you
No
so
problem,
much for
bro.
taking
I
care of
got
those
you.
thieves. The Riverwood Trader is
It
back
means
to the
so
way
much
it
to us
used to
to have the
be.
claw back where it belongs.
That's crazy. How long did that mission take? 45 minutes? Half an hour?
Yeah, I mean that's a mission I've done countless times too. If it was your first time, I could imagine some of the puzzles might not be immediately intuitive or clear about what you're supposed to do. You can see now that he kind of likes me. You know, we have a little bit of a rapport. I can take some of the stuff in his shop. You know, this sword that's sitting here, I could totally just grab that. On the iron helmet, that's still stealing. I can take his wine if I wanted. The potions over here, he doesn't mind if I take some of these. So characters have like a disposition towards you that will change and evolve over time. Wesley, you asked about throwing stuff. Yep. If you have the right move controller and I point it and I hold down the move button, I can pick it up.
Put that down.
He might get a little mad, but I can... I wish I could put armor on like that. That would be really cool. And just, you know, place it over my head. The limitation to that is they do not have the ability to do that to corpses. So like in the main game and outside of VR, you could totally grab a corpse, move it around. You can, you know, drag corpses around. There's this one guy I remember seeing on Reddit that would lure people back to his house, kill them, and then set up their dead bodies like at a dinner party around the table. And it was the creepiest thing. And yeah, so you're not going to be able to do that in VR because you can't move bodies. Yeah.
Odds and ends. That sort of thing.
I'd hate to say that's such a disappointment, but I mean, that's...
It totally is, though, right? I mean, whenever I started telling that story, you're disappointed now because you were excited about the idea of becoming Hannibal Lecter in Skyrim.
So much. I know a bit of this.
I mean, I gotta say, you could do some really creepy, like, yeah, the video possibilities there are just a nightmare.
And that's right. I mean, decorating a house is going to be a lot more satisfying now. I can, you know, pick up each individual book. I can move it on the shelf. I can, you know, pick up, you know, things on the table and arrange them correctly. And I'm looking forward to that for sure. Let me sell all this junk that I don't need. Oh, crap. I just bought that. Dang it.
What was the thing Jamie was saying about blocking people
Oh,
by
that's way
putting
better.
something on their head?
Yeah, so the baskets, you can place those on characters' heads like shopkeepers, and that restricts their ability to see, right? So then I can sneak around undetected. There we go. You know, I'm going to get rid of that war axe. Instead, I'm going to start using my ancient Nord sword of cold, because That's what Nords do, is they use cold weapons.
And what happens if you try to put the helmet on that dude?
I don't think the helmet would actually do anything. I'm just let me sell my stuff real quick, and then I'll test that out. Iron. I'm not gonna wear heavy armor. I think I'm gonna go with light and or medium. All right. Doing pretty good on money. I have 1,500, which is pretty good for having not even been to all of Whiterun yet. Don't need that. Don't need this bucket. I don't know why I have that. Or the lantern. Okay. So,
how quickly does your stuff fill out? How big's your satchel?
Need something?
I can hold a little over 300 pounds right now. So usually I try to remember to sell stuff after every dungeon.
What do you think you're doing?
Oh, crap. I tried to put the helmet on him, and it it fell and hit him, and he thought I was trying to... Oh, and now he's calling me a bully. Oh, my God. Because I dropped the helmet on him. Oh, that's so funny.
You need in a general store.
All right. I'm going to leave before he gets really mad. Oh, yeah, so he's part of the main quest, so I can't kill him. But I could totally murder the crap out of his sister right now if I wanted to do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of some of my pent-up aggression here. I'm going to save it so that I, don't lose my progress, of course. Saving. And then I'm going to commit cold-blooded murder. You could even call me a serial killer because I'm going to kill both of them. Let's do this.
I thought you said you couldn't kill him.
You can beat him to the point where he falls down, but then he gets back up. Yeah, it's a little frustrating. And then you can just keep hitting him, though. So you can just get rid of all that aggression that you have and just go to town.
You're a model citizen for VR.
Yeah, man. All right. I'm gonna do this the right way. I'm gonna wait for her to ask me to put my sword away.
Yeah, Iceman, I'm a little freaked out right now.
Come on, Camilla.
Did I see you talking to Sven?
Oh no, we have a third person in here now.
Never mind.
He's gonna tell the guards. Okay, we have to wait for him to leave. Get out of here. All right, we're alone. Where is she?
What do you think you're doing?
Ah! Die!
Wow, that is horrifying.
I finished the quest, so I can kill him. Oh, he's dead now. Oh man, I just killed 3 people. Well, what do I do with their bodies if I can't move them? What do I do?
It's a really horrifying effect here because, like, the stream is delayed, and so I have to hear you sort of committing it, and then I get to see it about, I don't know, 10 to 15 seconds later.
You know what? This isn't going to work, but I'm going to, just for the satisfaction, I'm going to stand here and burn their bodies.
My God.
Yeah. Light up the room. I have a key to this guy's house. I could go rob him now that I've murdered him.
All right, bring him back, David. I feel too bad.
I don't know. I mean, it feels pretty good. I don't know. All this money. I just stole all the gold. Man, I'm sitting pretty right now. All right, I'll reload.
You just sold someone. Yeah, someone now wants to buy a PlayStation VR.
You know what Sony needs to do now is they need to create peripherals that really look and feel like a bow and arrow and a sword, and I would buy those immediately.
Skyrim's a good example there, where like you've got such a breadth of tools at your disposal that it's kind of hard to pull that off. Where I mean, you've got to constantly be grabbing new tools, but yeah, I mean, I definitely want a bow and arrow for a bow and arrow game. I definitely want a sword.
So I mean, one thing I will say, and Bethesda, you know, Todd Howard, if you're watching, feel free to use this idea as long as you give me credit. Is I would love for there to be the ability to reach down like onto my back or onto my side to go through my inventory. Like let me grab a backpack and a satchel, you know, like to find the right potion or to equip the right sword. That's what I would love, because hitting a button and bringing up a flat menu, that just doesn't do it for me. Like it's not... That takes me out of it. And you have to do that a lot in an RPG like this. You're always talking to people. You're always in the menu. You're doing stuff. You're equipping things. And it kind of takes it away. And a game that does it well with far fewer items, to be fair, is the gallery. That game has a backpack where you actually get to grab things out of it as you need them. And so I would love to... Just some type of ability like that would be so cool.
And I like Wesley's question here. Have you met a character that had an emotional impact on you the first time through, and have you met them again in VR, and how does that feel?
I think I would have that kind of reaction if I were playing a game that had a more robust narrative, I guess, with more character development. Because, I mean, Skyrim's more of a sandbox where you just kind of make your own story. And, I mean, there are characters that you talk to, and they have names and everything, but, you know, Bethesda isn't really known for making memorable narratives with, you know, really detailed characters or anything like that. None of their games really have that. They're just known for making really great, big sandboxes that you can explore and do whatever you want in. But that being said, you know, all that being said, I'm playing the intro and having it load up and me sitting on the wagon, surrounded by those prisoners, looking to my right and having Jarl Ulfric right there. That was, you know, I kind of felt just a rush, and I got a little bit of a chill just remembering back to the first time I played it. And, you know, sitting there and having the music come in and the screen slowly fades in and I'm going down the mountain on the carriage, and that was that was probably kind of close to the moment you're asking about. One thing that looks really nice in VR is the water. I'm a sucker for good water effects in games. Skyrim's always had nice water, and it looks pretty good in VR too. Inferal, best guess about Skyrim VR on PC. Well, Sony had 6 months with Batman VR as their exclusivity contract, and then they had a year with Resident Evil. I would guess that they're going to want to keep this one locked up for at least a year. That would be my guess, but I have no idea. I mean, no one's talked about that yet.
Game. I mean, I wonder if the 6-year-old game has anything to do with the length of time that they're able to lock it up.
It's a 6-year-old game, true, but you also have to remember that it just recently re-released on PS4 and Xbox One, and it came out on Switch today as well. So they're still milking it. It's not like it's a game they forgot about. So who knows?
I mean, more. Yeah, it's a total guess. Bottom line, total guess to. Yeah.
All right, so I think I know what people want to see now. It is time for me to go fight a dragon, because that's exactly what's about to happen. Chris, answer your question. Do I feel like I'm there? That's I don't know. It's a tough thing to answer. It's totally subjective. You know, everyone's going to have different reactions to VR. It is certainly more immersive than playing on a flat monitor or a TV. I'll say that. I don't know if I've played enough VR over the past 2 years that I don't have that euphoric sense of, holy crap, this is real life. You know, I don't wake up in a sweat thinking I'm about to kill a dragon. But it's really, really cool being able to turn my head and look around and be in Skyrim. You know, like, I don't think that's ever going to go away. Just a game that I've played so much over the years, and a game that I was looking forward to for years when it was announced. And I mean, yeah.
I think one of the... Are there any scare moments? I mean, I'm assuming there's some... You talked about some late game stuff, but that's where the immersion kind of comes out, mostly, when you're kind of suddenly that panic feeling overcomes you. Like, you're suddenly, oh wow, that thing really jumped at me. That does have an effect, right? Does that happen in Skyrim?
It does. It absolutely does. There's a lot of enemies that will come out of nowhere and attack you, you know, when you're just exploring. One thing that will contribute to this, whenever you're playing outside of VR, the compass is always visible at the top of your screen. You can always see it. You can always the compass is always there. And whenever an enemy is nearby, there's a red line on your compass. So sometimes that will pop up before you actually see the enemy, and that's outside of VR. But if you're in VR, you have to physically look down to see the compass. So you're not going to have that warning ahead of time that shows the red line of an enemy. You can look down to see where they are, but whenever I'm just exploring, walking around, I'm not looking down at my compass. I'm immersed in the world. So I think that's going to contribute to people being surprised more often. And also, whenever I get surrounded in VR by enemies, that makes me panic. That's why games like Brookhaven Experiment are still tough for me to play. I love them, and I love feeling scared, but I have to take a break when I'm playing that because I get so claustrophobic and panicked of enemies coming at me from all directions. And that happens in Skyrim too. Like when you're exploring, you'll have a zombie come up that was behind you didn't see. He's attacking you, and I mean, yeah. So there's moments where you get overwhelmed, and that you can really feel that.
Question here about whether it's harder to play with motion controllers. It seems like it would be easier.
I think melee is easier. Bow and arrow is a little harder because whenever you're aiming with your head, you can be really precise with the movements and just get the perfect shot. But melee and magic is probably easier. I would also say it's a little harder because there's no smooth turning with the move controllers because, if there's something behind me, I have to press the button a couple times to spin around. I can't just turn or look or spin the stick. Alright, so the mage here at Whiterun, he needs me to fetch a dragon stone from Bleak Falls Barrow. Well, I already did that, so that's what I have in my inventory already. So I'm just going to give it to him. That'll trigger the rest of the quest, which involves killing a dragon.
You already found it. You are cut from a different... You'll have to see the Jarl about...
Have you met a dragon in VR yet? On your other save?
I did. And it's it's pretty awesome. I love this little map here. It reminds me of Game of Thrones. You know how they have the little war maps that are stationed out. And see, the cool thing is about these icons on the map is you can touch all of these different little flags, and that will unlock each of these for fast travel. Or, no, it may not be fast travel. I think it just unlocks their location on the map. That's probably what it is. I think you have to physically go there for it to unlock fast travel.
One of the new servants? Remember that I like my meat rare.
This little girl, she just came up to me and asked me if I was one of the new servants and said she likes her meat rare. This spoiled little brat.
Don't do it, David. Don't let the power go to your head.
Oh, don't worry. Bethesda made it so you can't kill kids.
Good call. Is that in the regular Skyrim version, or was that for VR?
No, that's in regular too. But there is a mod that lets you kill children.
What's it called? I'm curious the name.
I'm sure if you just Googled "kill kids Skyrim mod,"
You mean I have to just Google? You just do it. You just did a let me Google that for you from VR, man.
I did. You're right. There's this one quest line that's gonna, I think it's gonna hit you in the feels pretty hard. I don't know if you'll be able to take it. All right, it's dragon time.
There's now kill Skyrim in my Google history.
Well, just don't kill any kids, and they won't have to search your computer.
Oh, it's got dark real fast.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, with swimming, I think I can actually swim by moving my hands. Yeah.
Quite a headline on Kotaku. Skyrim modder wants you to know their child killing mod is the best one.
It's competitive out there. Alright, it's raining right now. Should I fight a dragon in the rain or should I wait for it to stop?
Yeah, the mod's called Immersive Children. Alright, so my question is answered.
Alright, Chris, you asked if is my view rounded. It is not. No, so the way that these VR headsets work is the lenses are round, so their display is rounded, and so whenever it outputs the TV and then streams that, there's a little rounded curvature because it's outputting exactly what the lens is looking at. But since I'm in VR, you know, the lens and the headset itself is on my face, and you know, I don't feel like it's a rounded view. I just tilt my head around, and it really feels like I'm standing in the middle of Whiterun right now. I mean, like I can twist my head to just look in any direction I want. And so there's not like a rounded curvature that I have to deal with in VR.
This is just a function of Skyrim itself, right? There's
no, it's the
plenty of PlayStation
PSVR.
games. Aren't there some PlayStation games that output a normal? Yeah, I mean, there's the PlayStation Worlds. I mean, there's
the past like half dozen PSVR games I've recorded gameplay from have all been rounded. So I don't know if it's a new feature or if it's only some games or what.
There's just that asymmetrical game where they're playing something completely different up on the screen. I haven't. I need to try Fantastic Contraption on PSVR and see how that outputs to the screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Jobson.
Most PC VR games don't do that. Some do, but not all of them. Okay, guys. You don't need a PS4 Pro to play this. It certainly looks a little bit better, but it's not required.
And you're playing on PS Pro now, right?
I am, yeah. I'm not sure where my map or my compass is showing I need to go that way. I thought the tower was over here. I thought it was this one right here. Yeah. Alright, it's not raining anymore. It'll be a clear sky for a dragon attack. Alrighty. So what do you think? How should I fight this dragon? Bow and arrow? Should I just walk up and hit it?
Bow and arrow, and keep your shots high so we can enjoy the view a little bit better.
Alright. And so you're asking about the TV screen. The TV screen is not rounded. I just checked. I lifted my headset up. It fills the whole screen. It's not rounded at all.
Oh, okay. So I was confused about that. I wasn't understanding that. So this is just a streaming thing that it has to be done this way. Okay.
I think it's streaming and video capture. Yeah.
But a video capture using the built-in, like if you wanted to capture a flat screen version, you could do some kind of external capture card setup thing.
Yeah, that's probably right. For now, for me, I'm just using the PS4's built-in share button type capturing. Let's use this one. I didn't realize I had a better bow. You know, I'm going to use my most powerful arrows, my steel arrows. This sword, I'm going to make sure I have that favorited just in case. Alright. And see, the cool thing is being able to really see the weapon models, like this bow here. I mean, I can really check it out and inspect it. Same with the arrows. They all look different.
Your tunneling isn't on, right? That's just the circle of the screen?
Yeah, that's just the circle of the video capture for the live stream. I don't have tunneling on at all. I have all of that off. I guess you could say I'm playing as motion sickness sensitive as possible. I have on smooth movement, no tunneling, nothing.
Insensitive. You're
insensitive. Yeah. Oh, I hear a dragon. I hear it screeching. Oh God, there it is. Oh my Jesus. Oh man, right in the line of fire. Holy crap. Where the heck did it go? Having to actually look up, I mean, that's like a game changer right there alone. Oh God. Oh my God. Get out of there. Oh my God. This dude is obsessed with me. Alright, do I have any like fire resistance potions or... bows do more damage. Potion of true shot. Yes, please. I got a heal already, even though the fight feels like it just started. Yeah, see, Wesley, you guys are saying keep moving. That's the thing. It's hard to move and shoot whenever you're using the PS Move controllers, because I have to point to move, and then I have to hold it like this to shoot. So it's very difficult to be mobile with a bow when you're in VR.
That's why you want the sticks, right?
Yeah. Like if I was playing with Oculus Touch and had the analog sticks, that would make a big difference. Oh no, he's gonna... No! Don't do it! I hate you!
Can you go hide in that tower? Can you get at the top of the tower and take him out from up there?
Oh man. I'm lighting him up now. Oh yeah. Suck it. Woo. Alright. I just killed a dragon, you guys. That was... Murmulnir. I forgot he had a name.
Get up right close to him. I want you to lean in and really get a good look at him.
Oh yeah. Look at that. All right. I did it.
Yeah, there's a question about whether you can play normal. You can't play normal in the VR version, right?
That's right. They're different games, basically. You treat them like, totally different games. One thing I'll point out here, interesting, I looted his corpse, and apparently he had guard's armor in his belly, so I guess he ate a guard. That's sad. There we go.
I can't believe it. You're Dragonborn.
You're Dragonborn.
In the very oldest tales, back from when there were still dragons in Skyrim, the Dragonborn would slay dragons.
I know, right, Chris? Obviously, I'm here to loot the dragon's body, and I can't do that until it's dead, so I don't know why he was freaking out.
According to the old legends, only the Dragonborn can shout
All right.
without training, the way the dragons do.
Let's go get a shout. Unrelenting force.
Grandfather used to tell stories about the Dragonborn.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Like old timers said.
Here, you can see what it does to these guys. I don't think it's recharged yet. Almost. And recharged. The neat thing about shouting, too, is that it goes in the direction that my head is facing, as if it were actually coming out of my mouth. So whenever you press the shout button, you have to make sure you're pointing your face in the right way.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's a nice touch. The guard in the belly. I never would have imagined they'd have that kind of thing in the game. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Bethesda's really good about tiny details like that. Like if you'll come across like cabins and stuff in the woods that just have like a dead body and blood everywhere, and you'll think, oh geez, what happened? And then you go look and you find like a journal that's they were writing in their journal about someone that they thought was stalking them, and then that creates a quest where you have to figure out why they got murdered, and just all kinds of really cool little like lore type moments.
I've seen some amazing stories pop up on Reddit and Twitter about adopting people and these crazy stories that people just got invested in these side things in the game.
Yeah. Wesley, I agree with you, man. I want to shout with the actual words. I would love to be able to have to say it. That would be so cool. That, and I wish the dialogue with NPCs was triggered by like keywords or something. That'd be so cool. Like if I went up to a merchant and I could say, I want to trade, and that would just open up the menu. Oh, that would be awesome. I really hope we get to that point eventually. Ooh.
So what's after Dragon? What's the next part of your journey?
I'm not going to spoil it. You're just going to have to wait and see.
You did it. You killed the dragon.
All right. Coming up on the tower here in Whiterun, going up the stairs. Stuff like this in VR is just so cool. The sense of scale is awesome.
That's a really good point about the PC version and people wanting those mods on PC.
Yeah, that could be another reason why they need to delay the PC launch, because I would imagine people are going to want mods as soon as this hits PC.
The Jarl's been waiting for you.
There are no mods, Chris. They don't have any mods in the VR version.
What else could it mean? So what
Are there mods in the PS4 version?
Only
The regular
Enhanced
PS4
Edition.
version?
Yeah, the Enhanced Edition on PS4 has it, but PS3 and 360 don't.
I knew I could count on Irileth. Must be more to it than that.
I think there's some limitation to it. Like if someone were to make their own totally original assets and import it in, I'm not sure if you would be able to download those kind of mods. I could be wrong.
So it's true. The Greybeards really were summoning you. Masters of the way of the voice. They live in seclusion, high on the
Yeah, one thing I'm really looking forward to about Fallout 4, and someone in the comments is talking about this right now, is the settlement feature. So in Fallout 4, you can create entire cities and buildings using materials you find out in the world and different scraps. You can build buildings and all that kind of stuff. So being able to pick up and move pieces and construct stuff like that is going to be awesome. They don't have anything like that in Skyrim. With the Hearthfire content, you can create a house, but it's more of a menu-based approach where you go find the materials and then you go to the little workbench and you pick what you want to make, and then you can decorate the inside. But it's not like I want to make a wall using these materials and then put the wall here and then do that. It's not like that.
What does any of this Nord nonsense have to do with our friend here? Capable as he may be, I don't see any signs of him being this, Dragonborn.
Nord nonsense? Why, you puffed up ignorant. These are our sacred traditions that go back to the founding of the First Empire.
I don't think my head can interact with stuff, Wesley. I'm not sure. Let me go try. See what happens if I headbutt this goblet. Nope. But I can knock it over with my hand, I think. Or no, I can't. I thought I did that before. No, you have to hold to pick up stuff. Maybe if I have a weapon. Oh, I guess not.
You'd better get up to High Hrothgar immediately. There is no refusing the summons of the Greybeards. It's a tremendous honor. I envy you, you know. To climb the 7,000 steps again. I made the pilgrimage once.
Can you? So, Fallout I haven't played, but you can create a base in Fallout.
Yeah, there's a lot of different cities and settlements that allow you to build and do stuff like that. You can. It's really intricate too. Like you have to get fuel for generators to power lights, to operate fans and do different stuff and run like actual electric lines and. Whoa.
Are you standing or sitting?
I've been standing this whole time. It feels a lot better for me using PS Move in any motion controller. I like to stand when possible, and I feel like I can. I don't know. I feel like I can aim better. I don't have a chair behind me like restricting my pulling back, and I don't know. It just feels better. My legs are getting tired because I've been standing for like 2 hours, but it's worth it because it's Skyrim.
The Jarl has appointed me to be your house cop.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel with the we have. I don't think we've dropped below 50 people watching this. Maybe we dropped below once, but there are a lot of people watching this, and I'm curious at the interest in this game. And if you went and played this for 20 hours, it just seems like you would have an audience the whole time. Like there's that much love for this game.
See, one thing that I like that you can do is I feel like the default height is a little short. I feel like most characters are taller than me, like he's a little taller. So what you can do is I can crouch down in real life and recenter the camera and then stand up. And now I'm kind of like a better height. Now I'm too tall. Dang it. Oh no, it's getting worse.
If you need potions, you should try Arcadia's Cauldron.
There we go. That's pretty good.
Anthony, have you tried any games that have the field of view restriction? So we were talking about that earlier. I'm not sure if you were watching the stream, but I'm a teleportation person too, and the field of view restriction function here sort of makes it a little tunnel vision while you run around, and then when you stop moving, you get the full field of view again, and that effect might help you. But I'm curious if you've tried it in any other games.
I don't think I have any other swords to give her. Ooh, okay, this helmet's better than what I was wearing. So is this. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm giving Lydia, my follower, different gear because all she had was a sword. But since I'm using a sword and shield, I think it'd be better if I gave her a two-handed weapon so she can kind of do a little bit more damage. And I also gave her a bow in case we ever need to do some ranged combat. Alrighty. So now I was talking, and I think we're all talking throughout all of that conversation up there. But now the point of the quest is I need to go to the throat of the world, to High Hrothgar, which is on top of that really tall mountain outside, and talk to the Greybeards, who are the masters of the Thuum, which is the dragon voice shouts. And they can teach me, how to use my voice and different stuff like that. And that also progresses the main story. So yeah, that's where I'm going to go now. It's a long ways. You can see that mountain's pretty tall. But yeah, so Ian, all the stuff in this game, basically one of the big selling points that they had, 7-8 years ago when they first announced it, is it has that effect. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild, where, if I see something, if I see somewhere, I can go to it. And so that's kind of how this game is too. So this mountain up here, I can go to the top of that mountain. I could jump off of it if I wanted to.
And that's interesting. I guess I didn't really process that kind of global, permanent effect on the world, where if you give that person back in town an object, a tool to use, and then you go away for 50 hours, and then come back and meet them again, they've still got your tool.
So you can't just give things to any random person. The exception to that is if I snuck up behind them and pickpocketed them and then put something in their pocket, they would then have it, and I think they would eventually use it. But since she's my follower, she's like my partner, I can give things to her freely, and then she'll use those things. And so she's going to follow me around. She'll be in combat with me. She'll go to towns with me. Eventually, I'll get a house. I can even marry her eventually if I want to. And there's other women in the game that you can marry. I think you can marry men as well. It doesn't matter. And so they have all those features in this game. And the cool thing about that is I think you can even have your spouse open up a shop, and they'll make money. And you can leave them at home and then take a different follower with you out on quests. And so, I mean, it's pretty cool.
A couple comments asking a question about pet classes.
Skyrim doesn't have classes. There's not, like a class system that you pick from. Instead, you have these skill trees that you, every time you level up, you get to invest a perk in a different tree. So there is a conjuration class where you can summon elemental creatures, and you can also calm animals and have them fight for you. You can raise dead bodies and turn them into zombies. So the conjuration skill tree has those kind of spells that you would probably want out of a pet class. And you can combine it with other stuff. So like the illusion tree lets you, make enemies run away, makes them mad and attack their allies. You can go invisible. And then destruction has all of your damage spells like fire, ice, lightning. Restoration has healing type magic. You can create shields in your hands that act like, defensive barriers. Alteration has, magic that lets you change the environment around you you can breathe underwater. You can make your skin tougher to take more damage. And then you can also enchant your gear with the enchanting. So you can go to an enchanting station and, make your sword do ice damage. You can make your armor more resistant to fire, all that kind of stuff. And there's also crafting. So there's a smithing system where you can make your own armor, you can make your own weapons, make your own arrows, you can do all that stuff. You have to go mine for ore and then go to a smelting station to actually make it. So I mean, there's all that kind of stuff is here in this game. It's just not presented as a class system. You pick and choose as you level up and make your own character how you want. Let's see. Archery, I already do 20% more damage. Let's see what these other ones are. Pressing block while aiming will zoom in your view. That sounds pretty cool. But I'm not at level 30 yet, so I can't take it. Critical hit that does extra damage. What level are you at now? I'm level 5, but my archery is level 23.
Have you gotten in a fist fight?
I killed a wolf with my bare hands earlier.
It's the best sentence you've ever said.
There we go. Fighting stance. Power attacks, one-handed weapons, cost less stamina. I don't really use power attacks so much. I don't think that's worth it. Let's see. Light armor's 23. I think I'll do the... actually, I'm going to do blocking, because I use my shield a lot, so let's do that. Okay. So, now I have a decision to make. I need to get to High Hrothgar, which is the tower on top of the mountain. I have some choices, though, because the only way to get there is to go through Ivarstead, which is down here on the other side. So I can either fast travel to this tower, to the fort, and, make my way there, or I can just make my way around the mountain to get over to the city that will let me go up to the tower. So what do you think? Should I go around the mountain, or should I fast travel and then go that way?
Around the mountain.
All right. Around the mountain and through the woods to High Hrothgar.
Question about frame rate drops. Have you dropped any frames?
Not that I've noticed, no. I haven't seen any.
Did you play it enough on regular PS4 to see if that was an issue there?
I don't remember seeing any issues. I really don't. It seems to hold a steady 60 throughout, which is what PSVR games usually run at.
We're looking for someone in Whiterun. A woman. She's likely. We are not welcome here.
Okay.
It's none of your concern.
I don't feel like
if that doesn't
doing this quest right
feel
now.
free to walk away.
I'm gonna go up the mountain.
Do you have news of our quarry?
I've seen some applications, like some videos that were running at super high resolution like that, but I haven't played any VR games.
Do you have news of our quarry?
No. All right. And the cool thing about your followers, like Lydia, whenever I put my weapons away, she puts her weapon away. I think that's a cool touch. Oh, we sold somebody. You're welcome, Bethesda. And Sony. I will expect to see my royalty check in the mail by the end of the month.
Warm sun. How can I assist? We are creatures of the...
Can I sell stuff to you guys? Dang it, I should have sold stuff while I was in there. Oh well.
Perhaps you have encountered...
Maybe you.
Yes.
Yes, there we
I
go.
did not expect that. Get up. I want to see that up close.
What?
The cat man.
A Khajiit? That's one of the races. Yeah, hold on a second. Hunting bow, imperial bow. I don't need the sword. Did I take that from her? I don't remember if I did. Let me get rid of this armor. Minor
I think we sold another one. Welcome to VR, everyone.
Okay, so you want to see a Khajiit up close? From where you come from, they don't have cat people?
And also your coin.
Yeah, I've never seen a cat person in real life.
The one thing that I really love about Skyrim and just Bethesda games in general is that they do a really good job of making it feel like a real place. Like, you know...
Wait. Go back to this person. This person, like, will not let you get into their bubble. They move away from you when you get uncomfortably close.
I think he was just trying to walk somewhere. Or no? Yeah, it looks like it. He backed up.
Because I really wanted you to examine the kind of, like, detail and how creepy... Yeah, that's a cool effect.
Lydia does that too. She doesn't even want me to get close to her.
Don't be creepy. Yeah, that's Bethesda training people not to be creepy.
I guess so. Yeah, so what I was going to say, though, is everything is super consistent with its own lore, right? So, like the Khajiit, the cat people, all their names usually have apostrophes and dashes and stuff in them. The way they pronounce and their accents are very different from, you know, the Red Guards, which are, you know, these people over here. The Red Guards are kind of... They come from a desert area that we haven't really seen very much in the Elder Scrolls games. But, you know, these are Red Guards. I'm a Nord, so my homeland is Skyrim, where we are. There's a lot of icy stuff. There's the High Elves, the Altmer, there's the Dunmer, the Dark Elves. You've got the Bosner, the Wood Elves. All the elves are different. You know, they're very, very, very different. All the races have different bonuses for when you make your character. So, I mean, there's so much to these games. It's so dense and full of lore that makes it feel like a real place. And they've put so much care into that just over the years, you know. Like, if you go to one area of Skyrim, they'll have different crops than different areas because of the soil and the way things grow. And it's crazy.
Really makes you wonder when, going back to some of the stuff we said earlier, like, when you get to the next version of Elder Scrolls, and you've got a VR port, or assuming it's in VR. I mean, that's the hope, right? But just that, how much time, like, you as a person who loves this game for years and years and years, don't have a huge reason to go back there. It's entertaining to go back there. But when you've got a completely fresh game, and you're already so invested in the lore and the world, would you play the next version of this game? Like, would you play Elder Scrolls 6 completely in VR, or would you play it on a flat screen?
Well, if it were up to me, and it just had to pick, I would probably play it outside of VR. And that's mostly because of how much I get invested in these kind of games. I can only imagine the toll it would take on my eyes and my head just from spending so much time in VR. I'm not sure that would be healthy. And also, I like the pick up and play aspect of non-VR games. I don't have to put on a headset and set aside space in my room. So I mean, there are those kind of considerations to think about. But I played all of Resident Evil 7 in VR, and I didn't have to. Really, I could have fudged it. I could have played some outside, some in, but I played the whole thing in VR. And if a VR Elder Scrolls came out that was all VR from the beginning, and it was a brand new game, and I was reviewing stuff at UploadVR like I am now, I would do it. I would totally do it. I would do it for the job, for you guys, so you can know what it's like.
I don't know. That's such a weird kind of, like. No, I get it. Everything you said makes sense, but the question is whether meeting people has more impact, or being surprised has a greater meaning. And
no, stupid wolf!
I get that.
Don't you dare attack my horse.
You put 100 hours into the game. I get that makes sense for not like wanting to spend that length of time with a VR headset on. But I'm 10 hours, 15 hours. Would you play a significant portion of it in VR?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, if it were playable back and forth, like Resident Evil is, I would totally switch around. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't remember if this path up the mountain. I think I need to go around. I can't go up this side. Yeah. Okay. There is a camp up here, though. I'm going to unlock this real quick so I can have it as a fast travel point. That's one thing. If you've never played Skyrim or many open world games like this, you can see on the compass here, it shows these icons when you start getting close to something that is a location. I like to go visit those and just unlock the fast travel node so that in the future I have more fast travel points spread around the game.
The related question that I was thinking of to that sort of love for this world is the killer app question that everyone always asks. What's the killer app for VR? And is it Skyrim? Or is it Elder Scrolls 6 because it's fresh content? And when that hits, how many headsets is that going to sell?
I don't know, man. That's a great question. I mean, people are pretty excited for Fallout still. I'm not sure if people are more excited for Fallout or Skyrim VR. I'm not sure. I feel like Skyrim has been super popular, and just based on the excitement we've seen in the past, 24, 48 hours, it seems like this is something that was on a lot of people's radar for sure. But I mean, people were asking that question when Fallout 4 was announced a year and a half ago. Oh no. Here are some giants. Okay. I gotta save. So, you might not know this, Ian. Whenever you got killed by a giant in the original game, if it hits you in a certain way, it would send your body ragdolling all the way up to into the sky. That's how hard it hit you. And you would just go flying in the air. And it doesn't act the exact same way in VR, but it does send you flying. So we're going to check this out. This is a giant camp right here. So these guys are pretty tough. And they won't attack you if you don't get too close. As you can see here, he's kind of like, hey bro, what are you doing? So I'm going to go make him mad. Oh god. Oh my
Pretty
god!
alarming.
Oh my god. That never gets old. Oh man. Oh man. That was one hit. You saw that, right? That was one hit.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
The best way to kill a giant, in my opinion. Oh god, he's chasing me. Oh god, I tried to reload my save. I just want to leave. Stop! Stop, sir. Oh man, these guys are relentless. What have I done? Alright, maybe he won't chase me down the side of the mountain. Oh, I don't know if he chased me or not. Hopefully not. Oh, we got a bandit.
You can't hide from me.
Oh, we got an archer. Okay. Let's see if I can engage in a duel with this archer. Oh, no. Gotta switch.
What you gonna do? Huh? What you gonna do?
Alright.
Did you review Heart of the Ember Stone, or was that Jamie?
That was Jamie. I was on paternity leave at that time.
You played through the first one, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's someone in the comments is bringing up that one, and it's interesting to compare.
Yeah! That was sick. Okay, sorry.
You definitely like getting really good shots with your bow, don't you?
Oh man, it's so satisfying.
But I guess the comparison, is there any comparison that can be made between the gallery and this? Like, there's such different levels of commitment, but that game is built from the ground up for VR. It's a role-playing game. You're really immersed in that world. What does something like the gallery do that this doesn't, or what does this do that that game doesn't?
So I would say this game, the short version is it's a huge world, right? I mean, there's so much to do, there's so much to see, so many places to go. You can be whatever you want, do whatever you want. That's something that we haven't seen in VR yet, like, period. So I think that sets this game apart from a lot of stuff. On the gallery, though, I think it has... I think just the nuance of the interactions of being able to pick up and do stuff, and the backpack that has your inventory in it, and how hands-on all of the gameplay is. It feels clearly more built for VR, just inherently. So I think that's where that one kind of excels, where this one feels a little obtuse at times. For example, whenever I want to open a door, I point and click on it. I don't, open the handle. If I want to talk to someone, I have to pick dialogue options from a side window over here. My inventory is like a flat menu. So, I mean, it doesn't feel like it was really fully ported all the way. It's really close. But yeah.
Appreciate it. That's some good detail. I think that helps explain kind of why it helps to build from the ground up for VR. And I don't know whether it's still an open question whether the next version of Elder Scrolls can really do that. The menus, the menus is a great example. How much overhead does that add to the development costs and the time it takes to develop the game to build a proper inventory system for VR?
Move out of the way, Lydia.
Is the stream? I haven't turned it up. Yeah, I can only hear your voice. I haven't really been hearing the game. I've been keeping it quiet, so there's no feedback.
There's not a whole lot of audio right now. Nothing's going on. There's just some ambient music in the background. Whoops.
Someone else is going to go by now.
Nice.
Good. Have a good journey, Guppy Lips.
Oh, being up high like this is so nice. I love being able to see the world. I mean, yeah, so for example, like that place right there on the map that I can see where I'm standing. You know, that's the direction we came from. And you can see how far away that looks, right? I mean, that's a pretty good distance. And then you look over here on the map, and I've only traveled this far. That's it. I mean, and look how big the game is. It's like
it's hard, it's still hard to kind of get a sense of that scale because I'm still not seeing your hands some of the time when you're pointing these things out.
Oh, okay.
And we're also on the rounded screen, but
let's cross here and see what's in this tower. Oh, we got more bandits. I already saw them. It's going down.
Huh? What was that?
when was the last time you played Fallout in VR?
At VR DC.
And how was the quality of that? Did you have the weird focus shifting thing that I noticed?
I did, yeah.
Hope that gets fixed.
Oh! Man. Lydia's a badass. Dang. I'm not gonna mess with her. Not only does her axe light people on fire, but she just tried to decapitate that guy. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome axe.
I think I'm playing on Apprentice. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm playing on Apprentice. That's the second lowest. So it's not the easiest difficulty, but it is quite a bit lower than the others. I think I want to say there's 5 difficulty levels, and I'm on the second lowest one. For some reason, I can't grab this potion.
The difficulty on the two-handed weapons, like, if I want to play as you said melee is a fun way to play, right, with the moves?
Yes.
And so, should I try to set my difficulty a little higher and play if I'm a melee person?
I mean, probably. It's melee is definitely not as hard as bow and arrow, I would say, because you'd have to physically aim anything or anything like that. But if you get surrounded, it's pretty tough still when you're playing in VR, because you can't quickly turn around on PSVR. You have to use the buttons because of the tracking. If you're just fighting 1 or 2 people and they're in front of you, it's not that bad. You can block, you can chill bash, but having to spin around and hit and then spin around back and hit, that's, I mean, I'm not a fan of that too much. It's frustrating. But I still love playing melee for sure.
We've been streaming for a good 2.5 hours now. I think I'm gonna have to pop off in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to get to the top of the mountain, which isn't too much farther, and that's probably going to be where I stop.
Yeah,
yes.
He's playing on Pro.
Ooh, I have a new bow. This bow does shock damage. I think I'm going to equip that. Yes, please. Oh, that's cool. It lights up with electricity and everything.
Yeah, definitely agree, Sprite. That's one of the things that's really...
Let me try... I'm going to try turning off my move controllers real quick and then turning them back on because my right one is starting to get like drifts and it's frustrating. Okay, turning them back on. Okay, I think that's better. Whoops, they got switched to my hand.
There's been a couple questions about the visual enhancements from Special Edition.
They're basically non-existent in this version. I would say this version looks most comparable to the original version of the game that came out on PS3 and 360. Okay, if I see any other caves or anything like that, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to try to get to the top of the mountain. Whoops. Let's check the map. Yeah, I'm almost to the city. Not too much farther.
There's all those legal problems, but obviously between ZeniMax, Bethesda's parent, and Oculus, and what is it? What, was it a $500 million judgment against Oculus? But if you're talking Elder Scrolls 6,
that's close enough, fool. Now you
oh dang!
I
got some
I'm
freaking
curious.
vampires.
How much do you think HTC or Valve, I guess it would just be HTC, or Sony would pay to be an exclusive partner for Elder Scrolls 6 in VR?
I think that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if it'll arrive by the time the headsets are standalone. Or whether...
Oh man, that would be incredible.
It's standalone's kind of a tricky term because we're gonna see those wireless headsets that aren't standalone but beam from the PC to the headset probably next year. Well, I mean, we've already got TPcast, and we know that there's several other wireless streaming solutions for PC. Obviously, it needs to be brought down in cost in order to drive lots of systems, but you ship that, and you've got 4 hours probably in a wireless headset, and
Yeah.
complete immersion. It'd be amazing.
And I just switched my difficulty to Adept, which is the third one. That's because I have a follower with me now, and she does quite a bit of damage. So it's a little too easy with combat. She killed those two enemies just back there without me even being able to get a hit in. So I turned it up a little bit because I'd like to actually do something. Okay, we should be getting pretty close now. Yeah, I'm at this tower right now. I just have to go up that hill. Should be there soon. Uh-oh, got some wolves.
Yeah, Silent Hill victim, you're right. I think the question becomes costs there. Like, if you want to bring something, you want to bring up the immersion levels of something like Skyrim or some follow-up game, you obviously want to go wireless, and you want to be able to swing your sword all the way around and get bow and arrow ready and fire at enemies coming at you from all directions. But if it's $1,000 to get a $600 headset and a $400 wireless system, or $200 wireless system, and then a PC on top of that, those costs add up so much and restrict so many people from wanting to buy into the whole thing. It's such a trick where you got to bring down. You've got to have the PC power to drive a world like this. I mean, it's already run. A world like this is running, obviously. An old 6-year-old game is running. But we want Elder Scrolls 6 to be running in VR. So that's going to be visually incredibly amazing compared to what we're seeing here. And getting that wireless, how are we going to do it? And
I think I took a wrong turn.
I don't know. TPCast will do it. It's just the cost is going to be astronomical, and that's not going to move millions more headsets if it costs too much.
Yeah, I think I took a wrong turn up here.
Yeah, someone's asking, what about followers blocking doors? Is that annoying?
Oh yeah. That's super frustrating. Hold on one second, I got a phone call.
I'll answer if I'm not sure if I'm muted or he's muted or both, but David doesn't get very much discomfort from any kind of motion aspects, but as is the case in anything, your mileage is going to vary. I'm waiting for my Skyrim to download, and I am probably going to play with teleportation off initially, even though I like I really need all the comfort features, and but there's this field of view restricting thing that I'm hoping really helps, and I think David needs to try the field of view restriction on horseback. I don't think we've seen that yet, because yeah, I can imagine the horseback being a little weird. Yeah, David left us with a nice angle here. Yeah, Silent Hill Victim Wireless would definitely be amazing. I got to try the latest Santa Cruz demo from Oculus at Oculus Connect 4, and they had the sensor set up on the headset itself in a really nice position so that you could reach behind and grab objects behind you with the hand controllers, and they were still being seen by the sensors, and that was really impressive. The question is, of course, how much computing power can they really get into that headset.
That looks hilarious.
Whoa. What did you do?
My headset was on the ground, so it must have realigned. Alright. Okay.
Yeah, Silent Hill Victim, I don't know if anyone can overcome sickness. I've played a lot of VR and give it 5 or 10 minutes and I'll still get a headache and need to take the headset off. There's a lot of different things that can cause simulator sickness, and I think some people can probably overcome it, but other people, actually, I've heard developers who actually become more sensitive to bad VR over time and react more negatively to it more quickly.
It always amazes me how the entirety of the outdoors in this game has no load times. So once you exit a city or a building or a cave or something and you're outside, there's no loading. As long as you stay outside. This game also has one of my favorite soundtracks. The music is just fantastic. Oh my god, that's a saber-tooth tiger. I don't know if I can kill that thing. But you know what? I'm going to give it a try. Let's go! Let's go!
Yeah, at Oculus events, they'll actually hand out these little ginger candies. They had them all over the stations for Echo Arena at E3, and I would eat one before playing that game just in case.
Yeah, ginger helps.
It helps.
I know that having air blow on you helps, like a fan. Obviously staying hydrated. My biggest issue, I don't get sick, but I do get sweaty, and that's just because I sweat a lot all the time.
Do you ever get a headache?
I do. It's not so much like a headache as it is my eyes just get strained. Oh crap, that's a troll. Ugh.
For the amount of time we've been playing this, you actually haven't been in combat too much, like melee combat at least like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how Skyrim is. You're going to spend a lot of time walking around, talking to people, exploring. Once you get down into dungeons and stuff, there's more combat, but the open world doesn't have a ton. I killed that troll so hard it fell into the ground.
Stop spoiling it for us. I'm wondering if the people on the chat are as delayed as I am.
They're not, because it's streaming the party chat with the video, but we're talking over party chat and you're watching a video separately. So they're they're hearing it as they see it. Alright, well I guess I don't have to bury the troll because he's already on the ground. So there we go. Whew. That was a bit of a workout.
Yeah, David, have you had any weird dreams after doing VR? I think it's
Resident
happened to me a little bit.
Evil 7 legitimately gave me a nightmare.
How long was that game for you in VR?
About 10 or 11 hours. I played it over the course of, I think, 3 days.
Yeah, that would do it.
I just got my first troll skull. Once I get a house, I'm going to display that baby. Alright. I think I leveled up. Yes. I'm going to stick it in stamina. Alright. What can I do with my shield skills? I think I have to be 30 for all of these. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have anything that's at 30? One-handed at 27. Archery
You're pretty
is
close to the top of the mountain.
24. Yeah, I shouldn't be too much farther. I'm gonna knock up my arrow damage even more. So I'm gonna do a ton of damage with bows now.
I wish there were more games that could be played, or really any games that could be played this way, where I'm sort of an off-site guide. Because it would be so much fun to kind of be a... Well, what's the name of the little fairy in Ocarina of Time?
Navi.
Yeah, be like a Navi and help point out things in the environment to you.
Well, I mean, with the way game technology is nowadays, you can do that. Any VR game, any PS4 game can be streamed. If you don't want to stream it entirely, you can go to their profile and you can request a view, whatever game someone's playing.
Sure, I think I mean more like you could have some controls or some kind of interactivity.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Just a little bit beyond flat video, and maybe I could look around in directions you can't and really guide you. Let you know that there's two people coming up from behind you.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
That would be pretty neat.
Mostly food. The graybeards.
What we were doing in big screen was kind of close to that, but still. We played big screen recently, and we played PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds with us being in separate places, and we set up our screens so they were side by side. You can find it on the YouTube channel. But you could kind of like look over really quickly and glance at your friend's screen and see whether there's anybody coming from his direction, and then just look straight back at your screen and you're good to go and back in the game.
Alright, I'm now ascending up the steps, so I'm nearly there. We got some wolves! Dang it. Okay, hang on. I got another phone call.
Yeah, there's no confirmation on mods. We don't know whether mods are going to come or not. I don't know. It seems unlikely they would bring mods. I don't know. They put a lot of work into this already, and the install base for VR. Based on the interest in this game, this is probably going to be a very, very high selling VR game. But I don't know what the economics are of going in and going one more step and adding mods. Yeah, we joked about doing a tips article on tips to stay in VR as long as possible. Like, what places have the most protective renter laws so that they can't kick you out of your place because you've been immersed for 3 months.
Yeah, you could just set up like a recurring delivery rotation. You know, like this sandwich shop delivers on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I get a pizza on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, that was probably the most disturbing. I'm gonna spoil Ready Player One if I get too much into this, but like the level by which he did that in Ready Player One was kind of alarming.
All right. So.
Yeah, we looked into it, and it'll take like 20 hours or something to ride a dragon. So we thought about wanting to get to riding a dragon, but David said it would take quite a long time. What about becoming a werewolf, David? How long will that take? Any idea?
That wouldn't take very long. That quest line is much shorter. I mean, I probably could be pretty close by now if I had focused on that. You just have to get through the companions. They're one of the guilds in Skyrim, and you unlock that ability near the end of that quest line. Hang on, let me switch to my better bow. I don't know why I don't have this one equipped. Oh, it's because it's not set to my favorites. Okay. There we go. And so everyone that's watching, I'm curious to know, do you guys want us to keep streaming this game? Like, is this a game that, even if you have it, would you want to watch someone playing it in VR? Is that something that's appealing, or are you on the fence with VR? You don't have VR, but you're curious. I mean, is this a game that you guys feel like if you saw us streaming it, you would keep watching? I'm curious to know, because I could easily see myself streaming this game pretty often because I love it. And yeah, I mean, as long as people are going to watch, I'll be happy to stream it.
That's two quick yeses. Very quick. Three. Yeah. I want you to feed my hype. Nice.
Yeah, I'm assuming everyone that's excited, all you guys commenting right now, have probably played non-VR Skyrim. I mean, so what are some of the things that you guys want to see us do in VR? Because riding a dragon's obvious, that's something we're working towards, but, what else? Like being a vampire, becoming a werewolf, getting a house and building it, getting married. What kind of stuff do you guys want to see in VR? Because having goals like that for the streams would be pretty cool.
And also related, when Doom, Fallout hits, what things do you want to see there? Are they as interesting as Skyrim to you?
Oh my god, this ice troll just hit my horse, and I've never wanted to kill a troll so much in my life. Oh god, it almost killed me. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna heal up. I'm gonna take a potion of strength. I don't have any frost. Okay. Oh, maybe I have some scrolls. Let's see. Scroll of Blizzard. Okay, that's not going to be that useful against an ice troll. Maybe I can blast it with some flames real quick. Oh, jeez. This thing hits so hard. I have to get past them.
Is it worth it, David, to try to... Well, you're in combat, so you're not going to talk to me.
Oh, I did not notice this. Okay, when you bring up, like, the main menu or the favorites menu, it freezes the game, right? So I already knew that. But now I can turn around here, and I can see Lydia shooting an arrow, and the arrow is frozen in the air. And that is so cool. I did not notice that. That is so neat. Okay. I'm almost dead again, so this thing is destroying me. I don't even know if I have enough health potions to get through this fight. This mace. Oh, my sword does cold damage, so I probably don't want to use that. Okay, I guess I'm gonna try to give it a shot here again. Where's my... Do I even have a shield?
You've got nearly 50 people here ready to see whether you're going to die, David. Are you ready?
I guess I have to be. Oh, let me switch. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna switch to heavy armor real quick, just for this fight. Just to get that little extra boost. Of course, I don't have any heavy armor. I sold it all. Oh, here we go. Now I have iron armor. Alright, alright. Alright, alright, we're good. We're good. It's okay. I'm gonna do this. You guys, calm down. I don't have any scrolls, Visor. I used them all. They're all out. No, this isn't my first time playing Skyrim, but this is the VR version. It's a new save file. It just started yesterday, and I'm only level 6. I haven't been playing it for very long, so my level's not very high. Alright. We're going to do it. I'm going to do it. Nope, I'm not going to do it. I died. That did not... Oh my god! Oh... I'm gonna go straight past that troll. That's what I'm gonna do. Cause I can't. Either that or I have to lower the difficulty maybe. But I don't want to have to do that. Oh Jesus! I don't know when I saved last. Oh no! I might have to call this a stopping point here. I don't know where I saved last.
Yeah, I think I'm
oh, okay. No. I'm right here on the steps. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Alright. I'm gonna have to ride like the wind on this horse to get past that troll. I'm playing on Adept, so like the 3rd difficulty level. It's definitely not super easy. You know, I like a bit of a challenge. Level 6 is pretty low to fight a frost troll. I will admit that. Even if I was out of VR, that would be a pretty low level. What I want Lydia to do, though... Where is she? Where the heck she go? If I could get her to use her axe that does flame damage, that would probably be pretty helpful. So what do you think? Should I save right before the troll and try it one more time, or should I just try to go past him?
I think you can probably make it around him.
Alright, let's try that.
Silent Hill's asking whether you can save anywhere or just at save points.
Oh, you can save anywhere. But the trick is remembering to do it. Because, you know, it's very easy to get distracted and immersed, and I just forget to save. So that's why I had to go back quite a while. Okay, so the troll's right there. So... We're gonna save right here, just to be safe. One day she'll love me enough to do it. I will make her my wife. Alright, peace out, troll. Oh god. I don't know which direction to go. I forgot. Okay, we're good. Get away!
I think Silent Hill, I think the screen door effect is going to be pretty much the same in this game as most others on PSVR. It's just a matter of how many pixels are on the PlayStation screen.
Alright, I got past the troll. I don't think I... You want me to relive my nightmare? Are you serious?
Yeah, I really wanted the details on it. I'm glad they asked, because I wanted to hear you roll out the entire nightmare for us.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but in the first hour or so of the game, your wife, Maya... you meet her, you find her, you're trying to save her, and you find out what happened to her. She's all twisted and possessed, and there's an encounter with her where she basically grabs you and picks you up, you know, by the throat, essentially, and you're in VR, and her face gets right up here in your face, and she's all twisted and gross looking and snarls and throws you on the ground and then starts beating you and eventually cuts your hand off, and you have to try to fight her off and get her away. And I mean, it was so intense and so personal, and she was so in my face that I dreamed about that moment again. But in my dream, you know, whenever you think about stuff that happened in VR, it's not like you're remembering what you saw on a screen. It feels like you're really there. So that dream was pretty wild.
And just to be clear, for the people who haven't been watching us for 3 hours, David played all of Resident Evil 7 in VR, which was more than 10 hours over 3 days. So that was probably the most traumatic thing you've done to yourself in VR?
Yeah, I would say so. There's some supplies I'm supposed to put here. I don't remember where they're at. Maybe they're in miscellaneous? Yeah, they're there. Done. Okay, we are now at High Hrothgar. As you can see, the wind is quite nippy. Oh, there's Lydia. Now she shows up. Super useful. PTVRS, I like that.
Oh yeah, that reminds me about that one game that you, was it Transference? What was
yes, the Ubisoft one with Elijah Wood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? When does that release?
Sometime next year.
I am Master And. Now, tell me, Dragonborn, why have you come here? We are the great.
Alright, sorry guys. If you're interested in knowing what he's talking about, you can play it for yourself. I'm just going to skip through all this. Because there's a lot of talking at this part. Because you kind of learn the impetus for the story now. Between yesterday and today, what I've invested 5.5 hours, I guess? 5 hours? I'm just now getting to the point where the main story actually kind of kicks off.
Dragon blood gives you an inborn ability to learn words of power. All shouts are made up of 3 words of power. As you master each word, your shout will become progressively stronger. Master Einarth will now teach you roll, the second word in unrelenting force.
Yeah, Silent Hill. I don't like creatures up in my grill. It's pretty alarming.
Combine it with
whoops.
But it's impressive. It's impressive that in Skyrim, when you get up in people's faces, they back away.
Whoops. One thing I've noticed with Skyrim VR is that when your weapons are equipped, it's very easy to accidentally hit people. Because if you move your hand enough, it counts as a slash, see? But if I just do this, it's not. And so sometimes if I'm turning or something, I accidentally stab people. No, I prefer PlayStation Move, which is very surprising. I didn't think I would. But DualShock is still great. I mean, it feels really good if you like the way Resident Evil played in VR.
Use your unrelenting force shout to strike the targets as they appear.
Okay. Silent Hill victim. I don't know. Maybe Monday, sometime next week, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, are you gonna play during the Thanksgiving break? Like just for fun, or maybe playing other games, probably.
Probably other stuff. now that I've reviewed Skyrim, if I play it, it's probably going to be for streaming. I just don't have time to do something if it's not productive or related to work. Force raw.
Your thumb is precise. You show great promise, Dragonborn.
Hey Noah, so for movement, what happens is on the left move controller, this middle button here, the move button.
Hold it up higher.
Oh, the middle move button here on the move controller. It's right in the middle. You point it and you press it, and that's how you move. It takes you in that direction. And then over here on this controller for the X and circle, you press that to go left, right, and kind of twist you around. You can also do teleportation if that makes you sick.
Thanks, Silent Hill. Have a good day.
I hope you find your daughter.
Huh?
Oh man, I love being up here.
So is this like one of the tallest mountains in the whole game, or is it just a tall mountain?
No, this is the tallest mountain in all of Tamriel. They call it the throat of the world.
See you later too. Thanks for tuning in.
We're almost done anyway. You're not missing much. I just learned a new shout.
You don't have to say the shouts, but are you gonna say them just for effect?
Yeah, I guess I should, right? Force.
Yeah, Mike, he got squashed by a giant about, I don't know, half an hour ago, 45 minutes. It was pretty glorious.
Let's switch it up to whirlwind sprint. Wooed. All right, they're gonna test me. Whoa! I forgot about that. Here we go.
Master Barrow will open the gate. Use your whirlwind sprint to pass through before it closes.
Oh, that's sick.
Your quick mastery of a new theme is astonishing. No, you are now ready for your last
trial.
Retrieve the horn of Jürgen Windcaller, our founder, from his tomb in the
Ooh, this
ancient
is a fun
cave of
dungeon.
Ulster.
It's going to be a fun one to do.
Remain true to the way of the voice. You will return.
All right. Completed the way of the voice. Now, I will leave you all very soon with this beautiful view. Now, just to put this into perspective for everyone, right down there, that city you see is Whiterun. That's where I started earlier. And Dragon's Reach is the tower. That's where the Jarl is sitting on his throne. And that's how far I came, basically. I can pull up the map, and you can see the distance in terms of, you know, that's a far away.
It's pretty glorious. And how does it? The fact that you didn't teleport that entire time, like, do you have that memory? Is that memory stored in your brain of like making that trip?
I would say so. It definitely feels like I ran away screaming from a frost troll. That happened. And it's just so cool because, you know, with games like Skyrim, like I was saying earlier, there's no loading screens, right? When you're outside, no loading screens outside. So from my journey from the gates of Whiterun to right here at the top of High Hrothgar, zero loading. Everything was rendered in real time. I came up the mountain. I walked around it. I went up the steps. I mean, it's just the sheer size of the world is just crazy. I mean, it's pretty nuts.
Definitely fun to see it from up here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been fun watching David play.
I'm going to save it, and I will do one more thing. I'm going to sprint off the edge of the mountain and commit suicide to end the stream. I think that's appropriate. Let me make sure I got the right shout equipped. Yes, I do. Here we go. Oh my god! Oh, that was crazy. Wow. Alright. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to see our full review of Skyrim VR, it's on the site at UploadVR.com. We streamed it yesterday as well for 2 hours, so you can see that archived stream here on our YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see more Skyrim streams, let us know. We definitely need, people to watch if we're going to keep doing it, and it seems like you guys are interested. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and my legs are exhausted right now, and I need to drink some water because my throat's very dry. Yeah. So
good job, David.
It was a lot of fun.